The Nashville Sheriff.
Looking for a career with purpose or have that passion for youth development? Boys and Girls Clubs of Middle Tennessee provides a safe place where youth gain the tools to learn, lead, and reach their full potential. And that starts with you, offering competitive pay and free after-school care for employees. Learn more at bgcmt.org.
Live from the Game Nashville studios. WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne. Broadcasting on Alexa.
I appreciate that.
And other smart speakers. 102.5 and 106.3.
1, 2, 3. I think it was a good game. Had a couple of big plays.
The Game.
A Cromwell media station.
Where you have a voice.
We're one play away from an injury.
He knows this. He's a study of the game.
And we have strong opinions.
He's been awful. I don't think they were trying, and that's why I feel the way I feel.
This is Stillman and Company with Jared Stillman and Caroline Fenton. Presented by TriStar Moving on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is delivered by TriStar Moving, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook Live. Thanks to the losses of Amanda J. Gentry. Fireball Hot Take Friday. No Caroline today. She did the midday show. Ian is here today. Hello, Ian.
What up, what up?
So let's get right into it on this beautiful Fireball Hot Take Friday. I am a believer in a lot of things in life. I think you all know that. But sometimes I can be a little dubious, even when it comes to my own beliefs. Now, some people will call that flip-flopping. Some people will say, hey, you need a good bit of skepticism when you approach life. And one of the things I believe is that Mike Vrabel is the best coach in the National Football League. I believe that since last year. I have said that here. I have said that on SiriusXM. Yes, I rip up Vrabel every time he does something stupid that drives me crazy, and it happens often. But I still think Mike Vrabel is the best coach in the NFL. I think there are three guys when it comes to best coach in the NFL who I think belong in that discussion today. I know Mike Tomlin's going to the Hall of Fame. Bill Belichick's the greatest coach of all time. Pete Carroll probably too. But they're not in that discussion. To me, it's Vrabel number one, Kyle Shanahan, who last night with a third-string quarterback who was the last pick in this year's draft turned him into Joe Burrow, and Sean McVay. Now, Sean McVay's team is 4-9. Now, I know he won the Super Bowl last year, but Sean McVay's team's not doing too well this year either. So it doesn't mean that I just look at a coach and I say, okay, are you winning or are you losing? You're either a good coach or you're a bad coach. Because we've had good coaches that have had bad teams and bad seasons and gotten fired. This isn't Bill Belichick's first team with the Patriots. And we've had bad coaches like Barry Switzer win the Super Bowl with the Dallas Cowboys. So I believe that Mike Vrabel is the best coach in the National Football League. I do. I think he's proven enough. That being said, this week the Titans are in deep, deep trouble against the LA Chargers. The Titans don't stop the pass at all. The Chargers have a quarterback who's going to throw it 60 times. The Titans have small, inexperienced backup corners in there. The Chargers have Keenan Allen and big Mike Williams and big Josh Palmer, and they've got a big tight end that'll run the middle of the field just like all the other tight ends have run the middle of the field, and they've got a good back out of the backfield in Eckler. They got it all as far as weaponry in the passing game is concerned. The Chargers don't stop the run at all. The Titans can't run the ball. The Titans are going to be without their best pass-catching option, Treylon Burks, once again out this week with a concussion. So who is Ryan Tannehill going to throw the ball to? Is he going to throw the ball to, can make a big play, Chigakonkwo, but struggles with the particulars? Is he going to throw the ball to Robert Woods, who drops it at least once a game in the second half? Who's he going to throw the ball to? Dontrell Hilliard, who arguably might be his most reliable pass catcher, he's out. Ryan Tannehill has no offensive line. Even Coach Shoup is saying, yeah, I can tell just by looking at his footwork, I can tell that he's lost his confidence. So that's where they are right now. They're going on the road to Los Angeles, a team that just smoked the Miami Dolphins on Sunday Night Football. How the line is 3 points in favor of the Chargers, I'll never know. The line should be 8 points in favor of the Chargers, which brings me back to Mike Vrabel. Because if there is any way the Titans are going to pull themselves out of the mess that they will find themselves in at 3 o'clock on Sunday when they kick that ball, it is going to be because the head coach, once again, for the umpteenth time as the head coach of this football team, has worked some kind of magic miracle. Whether it was the Houston game in 2018, whether it was the playoff game at Baltimore in the 2019 season, whatever it may be, whenever you look at the two sides and one side is stacked up in favor so much so against the other side, Mike Vrabel somehow, some way finds a way to win. And he better do it this week because that's the only thing they got. The real reason why I look at Mike Vrabel and I use the word dubious is because while I do think he's the best head coach in the NFL, I also know that other teams have injuries too. And somehow, some way, San Francisco losing their starting quarterback, losing their backup quarterback, playing yesterday without Deebo Samuel, that coach, Kyle Shanahan, yesterday found a way. With Brock Purdy. They still got Kittle, still got Ayuk, now has Christian McCaffrey, but he found a way with the last pick in the draft, starting at quarterback. I'm dubious because this game is going to test Mike Vrabel's coaching mantle. It was easy when Mike Vrabel had Dean Pease as his defensive coordinator and Arthur Smith as his offensive coordinator. It's easy with those guys. They're great coaches. But when Dean Pease exited, the Titans' defense was an unmitigated disaster. Vrabel had to figure out a way to fix that. It looks like, for the most part, he has. Now, defense is in trouble without Danico Autry, but it looks like, for the most part, he's figured that out. Offense loses Arthur Smith. We know what the story is there. So he's going to have to figure that out. But the real reason why I'm putting the pressure on Vrabel is twofold. Number one, I don't think there's anything else the Titans can rely on in this game. I don't know if this team believes they can win on Sunday. I don't know if this team believes they can compete in this league right now with the way that they are constructed. But if there is anybody or anything that they can hang their hat on, they can't hang it on Derrick Henry. He ran for 100-plus yards last week. Didn't do them any good. They can't hang their hat on any one particular player in the passing game. They can't hang their hat on defense. They can't hang it on the defensive line. They can't hang it on one particular defensive player, and they sure as hell can't hang it on special teams. So the only thing that the Titans can feel sure about is their coach. And then I look at the other sideline with Brandon Staley, who is one of the chief stooges of the National Football League. I don't even know how that guy still has a job. I don't even know how he got that job. He was the defensive coordinator of the Rams. Who cares? The Rams are an offensive team. Everybody that gets hired out of there, it's offense. And somehow the Chargers, with Justin Herbert at quarterback, hired this goofball that goes for it on every fourth down and is the only reason that they didn't make the playoffs last year. So that's why I look at Mike Vrabel and I'm like, hey, man, I know your team is a mess right now. Your best receiver is out. I think your best or maybe most valuable defensive player, Danico Autry, is out. One of your other most valuable defensive players, David Long Jr., is out. You haven't had a left tackle for almost the entire season. You haven't had a right tackle for the entire season. You haven't had a left guard for the entire season. Your quarterback is scared. I get it. It's hard. But you're the best coach in the league, and their coach is a bozo. That's all they've got right now. That's it on Sunday. Ask yourself this. Who would you rather be right now? Would you rather have Justin Herbert or Ryan Tannehill? We know the answer there. Would you rather have the Chargers' offensive line, and their offensive line is banged up? Would you rather have their offensive line or your offensive line? We know the answer there. Would you rather have your defense that's letting everybody throw for 350 yards, or would you rather have their defense? We know the answer there. The only thing that you can look at the Chargers right now and say, man, I much rather have my guy than their guy is the coach. And so this is all about Mike Vrabel. Their GM hire is going to probably be all about Mike Vrabel. He's the most popular sports person in town. When John McClain told Outkick 360 earlier this week that Amy Adams Strunk firing John Robinson was kind of similar to Bud Adams firing Bum Phillips, but it wasn't the same because Bum Phillips was the most popular person in the history of Houston sports, I thought to myself, that would be what would happen if Amy Adams Strunk fired Mike Vrabel, not John Robinson. So he is the most popular guy in town. He is the only thing going for this team that people outside of here respect. You listen to a national commentator talk about the Titans, and it's, well, they've got Vrabel. And right now, that's it. There is no reason to believe in this team. Since Danico Autry got hurt against the Green Bay Packers, they have gotten no pressure and forced almost no turnovers out of Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, or Trevor Lawrence. It's one thing to get beaten by Joe Burrow. It's another thing to get housed by Trevor Lawrence. And this guy, Justin Herbert, he puts up better stats than all of them. So there's nothing to feel good about on defense. Danico Autry's out. There's nothing to feel good about on offense. The one guy who's really starting to come along was Burks. Good game against the Packers, good game against the Bengals, one big, huge touchdown catch against the Eagles, and he's been concussed ever since. He's out. So the only thing that you can have to have any faith in the game on Sunday is your head coach versus their head coach. And I don't know if the talent differential and the injury situation, and let's not kid ourselves, the negativity surrounding the team, I don't know if that gap is too wide for even a coach as good as Mike Vrabel to overcome. I love Kyle Shanahan, but when he had injuries in 2020, his team went 6-10. I love Sean McVay. Look at the Rams' record right now. So sometimes it's too much for the coach to overcome. But it's it. And if Vrabel can't get it done against this stooge, then you're not competing against anybody. Then you'll beat the Texans, because they're one of the worst teams I have ever seen. And I have said on several occasions that I believe that Texans team has less talent than the 2002 Houston Texans expansion team. And maybe you beat Jacksonville at the end of the year. But you're not beating the Dallas Cowboys, and you're not beating Cincinnati or Baltimore. Whoever comes in here for that first playoff game, you don't have a prayer. So this is it, and this one's on the coach. And the one thing about Mike Vrabel that he probably hates about John Robinson getting fired last week is now there is no shield of criticism. People will still blame Robinson for this year, but people want results out of Mike Vrabel. And isn't that the strength of Mike Vrabel? Isn't he the turning water to wine? Isn't he that guy that did that last year with those 91 players? So I know they're hurt now, but you're going up against Chief Stooge of the National Football League in Brandon Staley, who will go for it on 4th and 13 if he feels like doing it. You got to find a way to win. And that's the only thing that I think I can say gives the Titans a shot on Sunday. It's the only thing that I think you can say gives the Titans a shot on Sunday. And I'm not going to speak for those players in the locker room, but I'm going to use common sense. It's probably the only thing that they think can save them on Sunday. Because I know they're not looking around at the other players on their team, not with Dylan Radins liking tweets about how bad Dennis Daly sucks. So the only thing that they've got going for them is their head football coach. That's it. And that's the only thing you've got going for you on Sunday is to hope that your coach can find a way against that Brandon Staley loser of the Chargers. That's it. I can't get into could the Titans defense make a stop against the Chargers? It's going to have to be something stupid. It's going to have to be one of those things where we look at it at the end of the day and just say, wow, the Chargers were completely and totally unprepared, and in every big moment did the wrong thing, just like when they played the Raiders last year in that last game of the season, and all they needed was a tie, and the coach played for the win, and they lost, and that was it, and they didn't make the playoffs. Like, it has to be something like that, and then your elite head coach has to take advantage of it. If not, you don't have a prayer. And like I said at the very beginning of this, as much as I love Mike Vrabel, I'm dubious. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. 615-737-1025, rocking and rolling on a Fireball Hot Take Friday. And then here's the question, too. Is Vrabel a good enough coach? I don't think you understand how good of a coach you have to be in order to not really have the artillery to beat a good football team and still find a way to do it. Is Vrabel a good enough coach to be able to pull that off? Right now, Kyle Shanahan, I don't know how he's doing it with Brock Purdy. I mean, that's great infrastructure that they have in San Francisco. They've got a great offensive line with maybe the best offensive lineman in the league at left tackle. They've got a great running back, especially for that West Coast offense where they like to run them. They like to throw it to them. They've got the second best tight end in the league. They've got two good receivers. I know Debo's out, but the infrastructure of what they've got for Brock Purdy is great. Still, though, Kyle Shanahan has figured out, like King Midas, how to turn this quarterback into something. Can Vrabel do that? And that's hard to do in this league. 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. Plus, the grim reality about where the Titans are and how their own players must feel, as said by one of their best former players. We'll get to that coming up next. Stillman and Company on a Fireball Hot Take Friday. First, though, Caroline wants to tell you about the Caesars Sportsbook app.
All right, it is time for the Caesars Sportsbook Report. Now, Caesars has tons of promos every day, but your very first bet with the Caesars Sportsbook app is on Caesars. Up to $1,250, they've got you covered. So sign up using the promo code RADIOFULL, one word, RADIOFULL, and then place your first bet. And if you win, that money is all yours, up to $1,250. But if not, don't worry about it, because you'll get that stake back as a free bet. Now, if you're looking for something to place your first bet on, it is bowl season. Bowl season officially kicked off today. I'm looking at Jackson State, North Carolina Central tomorrow. Coach Prime's last game with Jackson State and the Tigers. Give me JSU minus 14 to cover the spread against North Carolina Central tomorrow. Open to new users in Tennessee who are 21 or older. If qualifying bet loses, bet amount returned as a credit. Must use within 14 days. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. Gambling problem? Call or text the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. Caesars Sportsbook. We are all Caesars.
The college football season never stops. ESPN college football analyst Trevor Matich joins Stillman and Company every Tuesday at 4:30.
They've got to do what Nick Saban in Alabama has done so successfully over the last 10 years.
Presented by Houston Clinic Orthopedics on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
At the law office of Amanda J. Gentry, we are committed to defending your rights. We have a team committed to helping you navigate the court system, whether you've been accused of a crime or you're going through a messy divorce and custody. Call our team to help you navigate this system. We are here to protect your rights, to demand your rights, to enforce your rights. 615-604-6263. 615-604-6263. AmandaJGentry.com.
Nothing says I love you like the gift of jewelry. A sapphire ring, a diamond necklace, a colored gemstone earring, an anniversary band. And around here, the diamond destination is Genesis Diamonds. With decades of experience, our legendary value combined with worldwide connection, Genesis is here to help make this Christmas the most unforgettable ever. And to make it easy to splurge, our special 0% finance offer has been extended through Christmas Eve. So you can make any holiday purchase and spread your payments over 5 years and enjoy an interest rate of 0% with absolutely nothing down. Our showcases are filled with exquisite diamond rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, bands, as well as a fabulous selection of luxury pre-owned Rolexes, starting as low as $35 a month with nothing down. And if you're planning an engagement this holiday season, this special finance offer includes all of our designer engagement rings and all GIA certified diamonds. Buy now, spread your payments over 5 years with zero interest and nothing down. Say I love you louder than ever this holiday with the gift of diamonds from Genesis Diamonds. Green Hills in Cool Springs. On approved credit.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Titans fans, the after-game party is at the all-new Superbook Lounge at Landshark Bar and Grill, Margaritaville. The Superbook Lounge is a sports viewing mecca with the largest screens on Broadway. Plus, 102.5 The Game's NFL postgame show will be broadcasting live, featuring Jonathan Hutton and Chad Withrow from Outkick 360. Party after the game at the Superbook Lounge and enjoy the ultimate in sports viewing while you take in the postgame show. Brought to you by Superbook Sports, Two Rivers Ford, and Renters Warehouse.
Never miss a moment of the show.
What is this? Check it out.
Subscribe to the Stillman and Company podcast on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts. You're listening to Stillman and Company.
Sounds like this has been a game-changing day for all of us.
Presented by TriStar Moving on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and on the Game Nashville app.
You know, sometimes there's a turning point in the season. And go back to them beating up on the Green Bay Packers on Thursday night. You remember that game, November 17th?
Very well.
They beat them 27-17. They got on the plane. Everybody's feeling good. They get off the plane. The offensive coordinator gets a DUI on his way home. They play the Bengals the next week. They lose to the Bengals. They play the Eagles the following week in Philadelphia. They get trounced, 35-10. A.J. Brown goes off. They come back and they fire the general manager, John Robinson. They get beat up by a team that everyone expects they'll beat, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Jaguars put 36 points on them, Bruce, and they turned the ball over 4 times. Now, to me, something's going on down there. They've lost 3 straight games. They've kind of lost their mojo, and they're in danger of missing the postseason.
There you go. That was Rich Gannon on SiriusXM NFL Radio. They've lost their mojo. Something's going on down there. It's been bad since the Packer game, and that is true. It has been all bad. And I wonder, does anybody have any faith in this team? Now, I could tell you from the boos on Sunday, the fans probably for the most part don't. In fact, normally when I say things like this team's got no chance in the playoffs, which I believe, I'll get a text or calls or whatever, and people say, no, cheering our team, they can do it. I'm not getting that now. So the fans, in my opinion, don't believe. The owner obviously does not believe in the team. That's why she fired the general manager last week from everything that we've been told. But all that really matters is if the people on the team believe. And if you've ever been involved with team sports at a competitive level, and you've been on a team that has won something, and I have, you know what it's like when everybody is pulling the rope in the same direction and everybody believes in each other, but most importantly, believes in the coach and believes in the direction of the organization. Right now, my alma mater, Louisville, we're terrible at almost everything. We're playing in the Fenway Bowl in football. Our basketball team just won their first game 2 days ago. And yet we've got an athletic director in there that has galvanized everything. I guarantee you in 3 or 4 years, that will be a great athletic program. Because I know the guy who's running it, and I believe. And you cannot be successful if the people inside the room don't believe. D. Mace earlier today on the midday show says he doesn't think these players believe.
From my experience, when you know that deep down you don't have a team that can truly compete with those 4 or 5 teams that people believe will get to the playoffs and run the table and potentially get in the Super Bowl, when you know deep down you don't have the firepower to compete with them, it takes something out of you, especially if you have injuries. I don't think they truly believe the way this roster stands today, the injuries that they have. I don't think they believe truly that they can go out and beat a Cincinnati, beat a Kansas City, beat a Buffalo, beat the Eagles, teams that they faced.
Think about that. 3 weeks ago, they absolutely thought they could beat the Bengals. 3 weeks ago, they thought they were going to beat the Bengals. Last year, they thought they were going to the Super Bowl after they won the AFC in the regular season. 2 years ago, I know they got beat at home by the Ravens in the playoffs. They thought that team was going to compete. Now, they were probably skeptical of their defense just like everybody else was, but they thought they were going to win. The year before that, they went to Kansas City in the AFC Championship game, and most people were counting them out, but they weren't. They got up 17-7. That stadium was silent at Arrowhead because they believed. When they played Kansas City earlier this year, even with a quarterback who could not throw, they believed. And now, D-Mace is telling you they don't believe. And if they don't believe, go ahead and pack it up. Just go ahead and say, look, it's over. If you don't believe, there's one thing to have the players be upset at the coaching staff or want a different coach in there, or as we've heard about coaches, so-and-so has lost the team. That's one thing. But it's another thing when the team doesn't have any belief in itself. Think about the Detroit Lions, and this got me on Sunday when I was watching the late game. And they showed the locker room at halftime on Fox. They showed the Lions locker room after they beat Minnesota last week. And it was Dan Campbell. And, of course, he's a rah-rah go-to. I mean, he's a motivator at coach, former player. And he's sitting there and he's doing man, we're the guys who all believe in each other. We're the guys who. And you could just see everybody in that locker room is all bought in. And that Lions team's not even really all that good. I remember last year when they were awful and they won their first game of the season, and Dan Campbell's in tears, and those guys were so happy to win that game. And I saw something in that, and I'm like, you know what? That team knows they're not very good, but that team enjoys playing football, even when they're not good. This team right now, they're looking at each other liking tweets that you suck and I should be playing. They're looking around the room. Ryan Tannehill's looking at his offensive line and thinking, you guys are going to get me killed. Robert Woods has dropped about 15 passes in a row. You can't trust him. Jeff Swain got a crackback block last week on the first drive of the second half. The defense hasn't stopped anybody in a month. The guy who put all these players together has been fired. Special teams is an unmitigated disaster. They don't believe. And it was obvious in the Jacksonville game. It was obvious that the air went out of the balloon when Derrick Henry fumbled and the defense couldn't get a stop, and they take their 12-minute halftime and they come back and Jacksonville runs the opening kickoff back for a touchdown that was negated by a phantom hold. Derrick's right. This team doesn't believe. And if this team doesn't believe, they've got no shot. I watched the Tom Brady documentary, the Man in the Arena series, and one of the episodes highlights the undefeated Patriots season that ended up with a Super Bowl loss against the Giants. And in that, Michael Strahan was interviewed. And Michael Strahan said, in the last week of the season, it was a meaningless game between the Giants and the Patriots. And yet, the Patriots were going for the undefeated season. And so the Patriots were playing all their players. And Tom Coughlin decided, we're going to go after this too. We're not just going to let them have the undefeated season. So they played all their players. And Michael Strahan says, we didn't even game plan. And I think they lost by 3 or they lost by a touchdown. It was a one-score game. And Michael Strahan said, we didn't even game plan. We knew we could compete with that team. So as much as they had seen on TV over the years of, this Patriots team is unbeatable, there's no stopping this New England club, they knew they could compete with New England because they went out on the field without a game plan. And so they knew, hey, without a game plan, we're neck and neck with them. What are we going to be when we have a game plan and this game means something to us? And so they were not intimidated when they got to the Super Bowl against the Patriots. In fact, they believed that they could beat the Patriots. That's where right now the Titans are. And Derek's telling you, this team doesn't believe. And you all that got excited about firing the general manager in the middle of the season in an unprecedented move that not one football person has come out and endorsed because they know what that does to a team. You all wonder, well, I mean, she saw something that needed a change and she made the change. And it's like, right. And if you felt that way, that's why you wait until after the season. It's one thing if you're 2-11. If you're 2-11, everybody knows you stink and you don't believe and nobody expects you to believe. But not when you're 7-5 and now they're 7-6. 7-6, headed to the playoffs, and not one person, except for Chris Sanders, who just texted me, not one person believes. They don't believe on that team. It's obvious. 615-737-1025. We'll get to some of your phones. 615-737-1025. And then, on top of that, there's another player who I think says one thing, and I think his actions prove another. We'll get to that coming up. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. And I'm not even sure. I love Chris with all my heart. I'm not even sure Chris actually believes Ian. I think he's just saying that to say that
because he's trying to counteract you a little bit.
Well, I just
shed some positivity into the show.
I think he's just positive. I don't think he believes.
You
we'll
don't
see
think
on
so?
Sunday.
I don't know, man. I think
we'll
he
see
believes.
on Sunday on the pregame show when he has to make his pick. If he believes. Speaking of the pregame show, tune in this Sunday live from Twin Peaks and Cool Springs. Join me, Chris Sanders, Derek Mason from 1 to 3 o'clock. Prior to the Titans and the Chargers, the pregame show is brought to you by TriStar Moving, Parman Tractor and Equipment, Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey, Superbook Sports, and Ounce of Hope Cannabis Company.
ESPN Titans NFL Nation reporter Teron Davenport brings knowledge.
3 touchdowns. He was processing, getting rid of the ball quickly.
Passion.
Make no mistake about it. He absolutely has to hit the ground running.
And expertise on the two-tone blue and the NFL. Join TD every Monday at 11, Thursdays at 3, and Friday morning at 8 for all the latest on your favorite team. Teron Davenport is presented by Craneworks on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, Robbie Stanley here, and you can give the gift of Preds hockey this holiday season with the Smashville Stocking Stuffer presented by 47 Brand and Local IQ. This includes 2 hockey tickets, a Preds 47 Brand hat, and a $20 food voucher, all starting at just $79. Visit NashvillePredators.com/stocking for more info, or check out the 5-game pick plan presented by Hattie B's. Pick any 5 games and select your seats, plus receive a Preds car flag and a $10 gift card to Hattie B's. Visit NashvillePredators.com/tickets for details.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game and a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
The countdown to Christmas is on. Take a break at Twin Peaks and bring the crew for a holiday celebration. Need some last-minute gifts? Grab a Twin Peaks gift card in store through December 24th and score a bonus card for yourself, valid in January.
Hey, it's Hutton. Interest rates are rising, but not at Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. Replace your old unit fast before new regulations increase prices up to 20%. Get a new unit today at today's price and receive up to $1,500 off, or get 18 months of no payments, so the first payment is not until spring of 2024. At Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, all new systems come with a 10-year parts and labor warranty. Schedule your appointment now at springhillac.com. That's springhillac.com.
Hey, it's Joe Rexer here letting you know now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, because right now new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back if your first bet doesn't win. All you got to do is sign up with promo code Joe102. FanDuel has all your standards, your favorites, your moneyline, point spread, player props within a game, but you can combine them for a bigger payday with the same game parlay. And with live betting, you're going to get updated odds on the games that have already started. Get paid fast, safe, secure. Very important to me. It's easy to use. If I was looking at Titans, Chargers, I tell you what, I do like the Chargers, the way the Titans are struggling. I do think another Derrick Henry anytime touchdown would make sense in this game, and I think Justin Herbert over on the passing yards. You do whatever you want. Sign up there with promo code Joe102 for that no-sweat first bet. Again, promo code Joe102. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older. Present Tennessee. First online room and wager only. D for issues wild for free bets. Expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbet.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call the Tennessee Red Line, 800-889-9789.
So guys, it's the holidays again, and that comes with all kinds of fun celebrations and activities. But if you're thinking you'd rather stay home and watch game shows than party, if your sex drive is more like sex neutral, or if you're thinking your dad bod is looking more and more like a Santa bod, maybe your holiday cheer isn't so cheery this year after all. But before you despair, you should know that the culprit might very well be low testosterone. It's a condition that affects us as we age, and it causes all kinds of issues like poor sleep, fatigue, low sex drive, bad workouts, and it can even contribute to ED. The good news is that the medical team at the Tennessee Men's Clinic can likely treat it and get you back to the man you used to be. Low T treatments are highly effective, with most men seeing results in a few weeks. If you're like the majority of guys, you'll sleep better, have better workouts, have much more energy, enjoy a higher sex drive, and generally just feel better. So get your cheer back. Call the Tennessee Men's Clinic. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes a medical consult and blood work with results in minutes. Call 615-208-9090 or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Visit our website to learn more, including side effects, treatments, etc. Results vary.
Jonathan Hutton.
You have to put the ball in his hands in that moment.
And Chad Withrow
My kicker's making no decisions on a football team.
are in the game. Join them for NFL postgame after every Titans home game, live from Landshark Bar and Grill in Margaritaville on Broadway. They'll break down that day's game and look ahead to the next one. NFL postgame is presented by Two Rivers Ford, Renter's Warehouse, and Superbook Sports on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, this is Philip Forsberg. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
This is not the streak we want to be on, and we all understand that, and there's certain emotions that come with that, frustrations, angers, all those types of things. But everyone's got to do their part. Can't just be just a few guys. We all kind of got to buy in and do our part to, like I said after the game, channeling that emotion into a positive way and being able to lift up the guys around you and be better this week.
Ryan Tannehill's a good man. And I really like Ryan Tannehill. I highly doubt he likes me. I don't know. But I like him. He's a good man. But sometimes when it comes to him at the podium, he's almost like this quarterback talking robot. You know, it's like he's been trained his entire life as a quarterback, what to say, how to say it, what to do. And so he's never going to say anything controversial. So they get smoked by the Eagles, and the head coach is talking about season at a crossroads, and Tannehill's saying, I still believe in this team. I still believe, and he says it all the time. He believes, and I love Ryan Tannehill, the guy, but I'm not convinced that Ryan Tannehill's actions actually prove that he believes. Coach Bob Shoop, who would know the technical aspects of quarterback play in the NFL, as a long-time college defensive coordinator, Coach Bob Shoop from the film thinks that Ryan Tannehill doesn't believe and has lost confidence in his offensive line.
I do think you're looking at a quarterback who's lost a little bit of confidence in his offensive line, in maybe the system. And where I noticed it is his mechanics with his footwork are the same regardless of the depth of the routes. That's why he could hit Hooper, he could hit Quanquo on those short little quick ones. But when the routes go beyond 10 yards, 12 yards, 15 yards, his mechanics are exactly the same. And the reason I feel qualified a little bit to say this is when I was at Penn State, I watched Christian Hackenberg go through the exact same thing. He had lost a little bit of confidence in the offensive line, and somehow, some way, his mechanics suffered.
So that's Bob, the coaching angle of this, of just, I'm looking at the tape, I'm looking at the fact that he's dropping back the exact same on every snap. It's exactly what happened to Christian Hackenberg when I worked with him. I've been coaching for 30 years. I'm telling you, Ryan Tannehill does not have confidence out there because he's doing the exact same thing every time. This is why. I can't tell you specifically why it is Tannehill's doing that. I don't know. I'm not a football guy. But Bob is. And so he's telling you Tannehill's lost his confidence. Then there's how the players see it. The actions, the body language, I can feel the resonation from the quarterback. Derek Mason earlier today on the Midday Show.
After a while, when Ryan Tannehill would get hit, you can just see the frustration on his face. Like he would just lay on the ground for a minute and then get up. That's something that prior to, this losing streak, you didn't see that from Ryan Tannehill. Regardless of if he was hurt or not, he was the one guy that bounced right back up. No matter what was going on with him, he managed to bounce right back up. Even when he had the ankle injury, he tried to get back up and go because he understands that I am the quarterback, the leader. If they see me laying on the ground, they think they've won or my team think it's over. So I'm going to get my tail up if I'm hurt, I'm going to get up and I'm going to go. I'm going to do something else. And you didn't see that versus Jacksonville or Cincinnati when he would get hit. He was just lay there like, man, no matter what I do as a quarterback, I still find myself most times on the ground picking myself up.
When this team was at a low point 3 years ago, 2-4, Mariota gets taken out. Mike Vrabel said, I did it because I was looking for a spark. Tannehill came in with all the confidence in the world. In fact, they beat the Chargers at Nissan Stadium, and it flipped their season around. And it wasn't like Tannehill possessed some great ability, but it was the fact that he said, guys, I believe, and you get on there with me. He led them at the end of that Chiefs game to come back. He's the one that threw the touchdown pass to Anthony Ferkser against the Patriots. He's the one that hit Khalif Raymond and Jonnu Smith against the Ravens. He said, guys, follow me. And he was so impressive that even people like me who love Tom Brady with all of their hearts said, I'd rather have that than Tom Brady. That was when Ryan Tannehill saved his career and proved and got every single one of us to believe. I'll never forget, it was after Thanksgiving. It was Jacksonville at home, and Ryan Tannehill took on two defenders in the end zone for the touchdown. They asked Derrick Henry, who had a monster game. They asked Derrick Henry about it afterwards, and Derrick's response was, Ryan's balling. And that was when I knew, hey, these guys believe in this guy. And now it's gotten so bad. Last year, Tannehill had lost faith in himself. This year, Tannehill has lost faith in his team. And if Ryan Tannehill doesn't have faith, how are they going to beat the Chargers? If Ryan Tannehill's laying on the ground and is just sitting there like Derek said, just, oh, God, how many times is this going to happen to me? How are they going to beat the Chargers? How are they going to beat the Bengals, who have rocked Tannehill the last 3 times? How are they going to beat them in a playoff game? How are they going to beat the Ravens in a playoff game? If Ryan Tannehill's laying on the ground against the Jags thinking, oh, God, they might beat the Texans. Hell, they beat the Texans with Malik Willis at quarterback. How are they going to do that with Tannehill if, as everybody points out, he's got no confidence? And this is a total mess that they're going to have to try to figure their way out of. And again, if Vrabel can do it, more power to him. He's going to need Staley to screw up on Sunday. But this is the worst I can remember it being since John Robinson and Mike Mularkey got hired, where literally everybody was just so down with a complete and total lack of belief. Maybe it got this bad at the very, very end of the Mike Mularkey era, where there were reports the day of a playoff game that he was going to get fired if they lost, which obviously ended up being correct. But I think this is the least confident I have ever seen the Tennessee Titans. Not only the least confident I've seen the quarterback, but the least confident that I have seen the entire group. It is bad. And they didn't help themselves a couple of weeks ago. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com on a Fireball Hot Take Friday. Chris in Nashville texts into the text line. And see, this is what I'm talking about. The Titan fans that just hated John Robinson, they cannot understand that everybody in football is looking at the Titans and they think, God, you guys are stupid. You had a 90% chance of making it to the playoffs, a 90% chance of winning your division. You had like a 94% chance of making it to the playoffs, and you just fired your general manager in the middle of the season, and now everybody's lost their faith? But Chris in Nashville says it on the text line. I cannot wait until this GM move pays off. I will never let you forget that you pooped on it nonstop. Again, the decision to fire the general manager, that in and of itself is a debatable discussion, which I'm kind of against. Even though the drafting had been bad and some free agent signings I didn't like, and even the ones I did like haven't really panned out. I hated the Julio Jones trade when it happened. Even though those things were issues, to me that's a debate. We can argue about whether or not John Robinson should have been fired after the season. Nobody who is not paid by the team is defending the decision that they made last week. Not one person has said, you know what, it was time for Robinson to go. In the middle of the season at 7-5, in first place of the division, it was time to just put napalm all over a home playoff game. Again, a home playoff game. Ben Roethlisberger and Eli Manning have won Super Bowls out of the 6th seed. Was it likely to happen for the Titans? No. Was it impossible that the Titans could get their season back on track and play like they did at Kansas City a month and a half ago? It was possible. Now I got a former coach and a former Titan telling me that the quarterback's got no confidence. Great. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. 615-737-1025. Sometimes there's coach talk, and sometimes there's pure, unadulterated stoogery. And I think that might be the one thing that the Titans can at least kind of believe in this Chargers game on Sunday. 615-737-1025. Fireball Whiskey goes down so smooth and it tastes so great. There's no better way to ignite the night than to do it with ice-cold Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey. That's right. I love Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey. Goes down so smooth and it tastes so great. Holiday party season and family coming over for the holidays. And I know that can be a little tough. And so make sure that you're well equipped for your parties or your company with ice-cold Fireball Whiskey. That's right. Nothing says ho, ho, ho like Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey. Goes down so smooth and it tastes so great. Ignite the night. Please do it responsibly and be 21 years or older to enjoy. That's Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey.
At some point, it's a combination of who did you play and what does your skill set look like.
Get the best analysis of the big stories in the sports world with ESPN's Jason Fitz.
If you reach for a quarterback in the draft because you need one, you're going to set your franchise back 5 years.
Join Fitzy every Wednesday at 4:30. Presented by Blood Assurance. Jason Fitz.
I am 5'9.5"
on ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
We'll see mostly sunny skies today and stay dry with high temperatures in the upper 40s. There could be a little bit of a breeze for us, too, with winds around 5 to 15 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear skies and low temperatures falling to the upper 20s. For Fox 17, I'm meteorologist Brett Luna.
Brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Hey, it's Jared. Are you looking to move? If so, do yourself a favor and reach out to my friends at TriStar Moving. You can be assured your move will be stress-free because they've got new utility vans to help with pack jobs to separate your high-value or fragile items from the bulk of your furniture, and their movers are carefully picked and highly trained. No one in the game is doing this. TriStar Moving is raising the standard in the moving industry. When you're ready to move, give them a call. TriStar Moving, 615-640-1219, or online at nationalmoving.org/radio, and tell them Jared Stillman referred you for 10% off. That's TriStar Moving.
Response to Genesis Diamond's remarkable free financing offer has been so incredible that we're extending it through Christmas Eve. Last minute shoppers, we've got you covered with 5 years zero interest financing on any purchase with $0 down. So you can splurge on that handcrafted diamond ring and spread it over 60 whole months. Studs, bracelets, necklaces, bands, every color and every shape, starting at only $35 a month with $0 down. You can use this amazing offer on anything. Designer engagement rings, classics like diamond pendants and bracelets. All our hand-selected GIA certified diamonds are included, and so are our luxury pre-owned Rolexes. At Genesis, we've got our best collection ever, with case after case of stunning gifts that are romantic and timeless. And with Genesis guaranteed best value price and 5 years zero interest, zero down financing offer, you can make this the best Christmas ever and still stay in budget. Merry Christmas from Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. Unapproved credit.
There's never a good time for your furnace to go out, especially in the winter, but it's always a good time to call Lee Company. Our heating and air conditioning pros are available 24/7. No heat? Don't wait. Call Lee Company now at 615-567-1000. Our expert technicians will diagnose the issue and fix it right the first time. When you're cold, you need someone you can count on to bring the heat. Call Lee Company now at 615-567-1000 or visit leecompany.com.
Robbie Stanley.
To avoid non-contact injuries and not repeat last year,
Joe Rexrode.
Just wait until next year's national TV schedule comes out.
Robbie and Rexrode. Mornings from 6 to 10 on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app. You're listening to Stillman and Company.
Presented by TriStar Moving.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
When I look at the numbers, I'm very worried.
they're 29th in the league in offense, 16th, surprisingly, 16th in the rush, which is just the middle of the pack, and 29th in passing. So how can you be 16th in rushing with Derrick Henry? That's hard to. That number is hard to believe. Now, I know they've got injuries on the offensive line. That can be part of it. But to be just average in the running game, that's not a prescription for success. So they've got to get that going. Fortunately, they're playing the Chargers. So if that running game is going to get healthy, it's going to be this week against the Chargers.
Sure.
Because they can't stop anybody in the run game.
Bill Polian with a good little chuckle right there on Sirius XM NFL Radio saying, oh, the Chargers, they can't stop anybody. But you got Polian looking at the Titans saying, that offense, I'm worried. We all know the Titans' offense sucks. We all know it. Line stinks. Receivers stink. Quarterback's lost his confidence. Running back has nowhere to go. There's nobody to take the top off the defense. That one guy got hurt and keeps getting hurt. No, look, it's not his fault he got concussed, but he can never stay on the field. And yet, don't tell that to Chargers coach Brandon Staley. I'm not knocking Brandon Staley for this. I think he's a total stooge. But listen to Brandon Staley talk about the Titans offense, and you tell me if you think this is just pure sunshine pumping about the Titans offense.
Is Tennessee's, do you find their offense more one-dimensional than most NFL teams, whereas you can really just focus on one guy?
Man, I wouldn't say that. I would say that, Ryan is as experienced of a quarterback as you're going to find. Ryan has played in the league a long time, has been very productive in Tennessee, and has made a lot of winning plays for them. I think when I think of him, I think of mobility. I think of accuracy. He's got a very good arm, very accurate player. Can really get outside the pocket and make things happen as well. And they have good skill players. I was with Robert Woods in L.A. and I know what a great player he is. What he is. As tough of a guy you're going to go against. Treylon Burks, the rookie, has come on. They've got good tight ends. Jeff Swain and Hooper and Chig, the rookie from Maryland. They're a very good offense. They just play a style that's different than most nowadays, but it's a very difficult style to defend. And so they're a team that's had one of the top records in the AFC now for 5 or 6 years. A team that's gone deep into the playoffs, and they have our full respect. And a big reason why is how they play on offense.
That's a good offense right there. I know they're 29th in the league, but that's a good offense. They've got great tight ends like Swain. Said Swain with an N at the end, not Swaim. Which, he shouldn't even know Swaim's name because Swaim shouldn't play. But he does. But I'll tell you, that's a great offense. They got Robert Woods. That Robert Woods, I'll tell you, I was with him in Los Angeles. That Robert Woods, he's as good as any receiver there is in the league. I went back through this. Paul Kaharski asked Todd Downing yesterday about the first drives of the second half. The Titans are 3 and out on 10 of their 13 drives. And I went back and looked through them to see how much of them are like Downing's fault or how much of them are the player's fault. And on 3 of those 10 drives in which the Titans have had a 3 and out on their first drive of the second half, Robert Woods has a drop every single time. He's one of the best receivers. I've been around him. He's telling me how great the Titans offense is when talking about Swain and Treylon. And he's still telling me they have a good offense. They're 29th in the league, and they're lucky it's 29th because for a good chunk earlier in the year, they were 32nd. Titans offense is brutal. And I'm sure he knows that, but there's no way he could say that. Texter into the text line says, I truly believe, now this is a Go Team Go tweet, right? And I hope this is right. Guy says, I truly believe this team is going to go to L.A. and win. Their backs are against the wall, and these guys know what is at stake, and we are going to see a different team this week. What tells you you're going to see a different team this week? Where is the belief coming from? Where is the shot in the arm this team needs? If Danico Autry was healthy, and Mike Vrabel has ruled him out, he will not play Sunday against the Chargers. If Danico Autry was healthy, then I could at least have the discussion of Danico Autry's in there. He's the missing key to the defense. When they had him in there, they were shutting down Aaron Rodgers. They were shutting down Patrick Mahomes, holding him to 20 points in an overtime game. Like, that's what they need, is they need Danico Autry back in there. They held the Bengals to 20 even without Danico, but to get him back in there, that'll change things up fine. If they were getting him and Long and Fulton back this week, fine. You could give me the argument that that's the shot in the arm they need. But they're not getting any of that. They have nobody there that believes in them, and they're not believing in themselves. And so, like in 2019, when Tannehill became the quarterback for a spark, where is the spark going to come from this week? Ryan in Nashville texts into the text line. Titans need a spark. Their best players need to step up, and they need a splash play. And I would agree, but again, it's hard for me to understand where the big plays are going to come from. If you do not pressure the quarterback and he stands in the pocket, and with this guy, he leads the NFL in yards from outside of the pocket. Well, he's going to wait in a man-to-man. He's going to wait until his guys get open, and they will, and then he's just going to deliver the ball. If you're in zone, which the Titans run far too often, and quarterbacks just throw the ball right over the middle of the field at the tight end, just like Jalen Hurts did, just like Joe Burrow did. Evan Ingram, if you're in a zone, he's going to just wait until guys get open. They're going to sit down in that zone, and he's going to deliver the ball. If you do not get a pass rush, you are not going to stop anybody. Well, who's going to get a pass rush on this team? Dupree, maybe. But other than that, they're not rushing the quarterback. And then it's like, well, who's going to cover? Mitchell? That's who you're banking on to cover for you right now, is Terrence Mitchell. A wide receiver. Who's going to make the big play? There's one guy on offense that has big play potential whose name is not Derrick Henry, and it is Chig Okonkwo. The problem is Chig screws up just as much as he does the right thing. So when he chips Trayvon Walker to the outside and Dennis Daly can't cover him, and all of a sudden he gets a clean shot at Tannehill fumbles the ball, and the Jags score on the next play, even though Chig Okonkwo scored a touchdown in that game, they cancel each other out because he did the wrong thing, and it's a minor detail, but it's important. So you want the best players to make a big play. And unless Derrick Henry single-handedly does it, they don't have that. Ron texts into the text line, Vrabel needs to be the chef that shops for his own ingredients to cook with, and right now he has all the meat but no seasoning. That's why we taste horrible. That's fine. You guys let Mike Vrabel become your director of player personnel. You let Mike Vrabel, who's never done personnel a day in his life, you let Mike Vrabel start running personnel. I remember when Jeff Fisher ran personnel around here. I remember Chris Henry, and so do you. And I had somebody text into the text line that said you're talking out of both sides of your mouth when you say that nobody has any faith in the team, and then the guy who put the team together gets fired and you're against it. And I'm like, you're missing the point. The point is that the team has no faith in themselves because the owner fired the guy, which then justifies to everybody who doesn't believe in the players on this team, the owner fired him. So she's saying, I don't believe in this team. Well, if she doesn't believe in the team, who is going to believe in the team? And the answer is nobody. And that's why you don't fire your general manager while you're still in contention, especially after the trade deadline, before the draft, when there are no major decisions that could be made. Congratulations. Maybe Ola Adeni is still on the team if John Robinson's the general manager. That's it. That's what you avoided. 615-737-1025. Speaking of roster decisions, there's a Titans player. Ian, have I advocated for cutting a player? Like where I said right now, like call that guy in the office right now and cut his ass. Have I done that lately?
Ooh, late. I was going to say ever for sure. Lately?
Oh, for sure.
Maybe Farley?
I haven't said cut him. I mean, he doesn't serve a purpose on this team, but I haven't said cut him.
Okay.
Well, guess what?
Nothing comes to mind.
I'm calling some people are calling for this guy to start. I'm calling this guy into the office right now, and I am firing him today. I'm cutting him today We'll get to that next. Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. I love my friends at Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Hiller is giving away cash for the holidays, and they are celebrating from now until the end of the year with special deals. Hiller wants to make sure every child experiences the joy of Christmas this year, so they're donating $50 in toys to Toys for Tots with every tankless water heater purchase. And they're giving away $250 Visa gift cards with each unit. Get a $500 Visa gift card when you buy select new HVAC systems, or get a $500 Visa gift card with the purchase of any new whole home generator. They have more deals online at happyhiller.com. As always, happy you'll be or the service is free, and these deals are only available until the end of the year, and we know the end of the year is coming sooner rather than later. So schedule these deals today. That's Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. My guys, they take great care of my home. They can do the exact same for you. That's Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Proud supporters of the Preds, the Vols, and Vandy. Hiller, call the Happy Face truck today.
You love the game.
The doors on the board. Touchdown at TSU.
We live the game.
Going up against that defense, he can make some plays and take that next step.
We are
A gunny performance. Do your job.
And the Tigers regain the lead.
the game. Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Need cash for the holidays or to pay off credit cards right now? Loan Pronto's all-new Express Equity Line of Credit program is just what you need. This is great. You can keep your low mortgage rate and still get cash out. That's right. You don't have to do a full home refi. You can tap a small portion of the equity you have and enjoy a super low rate. With Loan Pronto's Express Equity Credit Line, you can close in 7 to 10 days, and a $50,000 loan will come your way, and it only costs you around $300 a month. Use that money to pay off whatever bills you have. Credit cards, consolidate other debt, or start a home improvement project. With Loan Pronto, you can access up to 95% of your home's equity, and 9 out of 10 homeowners won't even need the appraisal. Even if you did a total refi recently or just bought your home, you can tap the equity with this fast, easy program. Do it now before the holidays. Call Loan Pronto, 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780, or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Are you looking for Tennessee-grown and crafted THC, CBD, Delta 8, Delta 9 products? Then float on over to ounceofhope.com. On top of the widest selection of luxury edibles and smokables, their customer service team is high quality and prepared to help select the right cannabis product for your needs. Their knowledgeable team will have you flying high with a smile. That's ounceofhope.com, made locally in Memphis. Ounce of Hope is Memphis Flyers' best cannabis shop 2 years in a row. Legal THC delivered to your door. ounceofhope.com.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
This message is for the guy who isn't perfect in the bedroom. And let's be honest, who is? Maybe the issue is getting it up, or keeping it up, or maybe it's finishing too soon. If any of these performance hiccups sound familiar to you, don't sweat it. Hims can help. At 4hims.com, you can go online and get clinically proven prescription medication that treats these issues, prescribed for you, if appropriate, by licensed medical providers. And the medication is shipped free to your door in discreet packaging. Plus, Hims gives you unlimited follow-up visits with medical providers. No one's perfect in the bedroom every time, but with Hims, you can get a lot closer than before. And chances are, your partner will agree.
To get started today, go to 4hims.com/perfect. That's 4hims.com/perfect for your free visit. forhims.com/perfect.
Live from the Game Nashville studios. WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne. Nashville's exclusive home for the Nashville Predators. 102.5 and 106.3.
A gunny performance. Do your job.
And the Tigers regain the lead.
The Game.
A Cromwell media station.
Where you have a voice.
We're one play away from an injury. He knows this. He's a study of the game.
And we have strong opinions.
He's been awful. I don't think they were trying, and that's why I feel the way I feel.
This is Stillman and Company with Jared Stillman and Caroline Fenton. Presented by TriStar Moving on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is delivered by TriStar Moving, 102.5, 106.3 The Game, streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook Live. Thanks to the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry. Fireball Hot Take Friday. So years ago, We used to do a Floyd's 53-man roster. It was something we would do on Fridays during the preseason. After the preseason games, he'd give you a 53-man roster, who he thought would make the team and who he thought wouldn't make the team, and he begrudgingly did that because he didn't want, well, I think, and I haven't seen him in practice and studied the tape and all, but he would always do that. And there was one player in particular that he hated, a linebacker by the name of Darren Bates. They played a preseason game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Darren Bates took his helmet off on the field, which is a 15-yard penalty, and Darren Bates got called for the penalty, and from that moment on, Floyd was done with Darren Bates. Never included him on one of his 53-man rosters when it was very obvious he was going to make the team. And that was just his little silent protest of, I'm done with that guy for that one mistake. Well, I didn't see this. Somebody called in about this yesterday. I did not see this until today. Apparently, Dylan Radins has decided, like most of you, he wants to see a change at left tackle on the Titans. A lot of you don't like Dennis Daly, think he's not very good, and I guess Dylan Radins agrees. Because Dylan Radins on Twitter liked 3 tweets, all of which were either talking about playing Radins or not playing Daly. One guy tweets in, quote, "Give Dylan Radins a shot. At Coach Vrabel 50 at Titans." Another guy tweets, "I'm not understanding why the Titans keep rolling out Dennis Daly at left tackle. Have they not seen enough this season? I understand they don't really have any other great options, but at this point, would you not give LaRaven Clark or Dylan Radins a shot?" And somebody said, "I will continue to say this till season's end. There's no way you can convince me that Dylan Radins is a worse left tackle than Dennis Daly. There's absolutely no way." And Dylan Radins liked all 3 of those tweets. And there's an article out about it. And now if you search Dylan Radins' name, which I wasn't thinking that was something that we were going to be doing, but apparently now Dylan Radins is talking about how I feel more comfortable at tackle than I do guard. And, if I was general manager or interim general manager or vice president of player personnel, unlike some of you that are clamoring for Dylan Radins to be the starting left tackle on Sunday, I'd call I'd call Dylan Radins into the office right now, and I'd cut his ass. The last thing I need, I'm the head coach of the Titans. I'm the vice president of player personnel. I got nobody that can play on the offensive line. Guess what? If Dylan Radins didn't stink so bad, he would have won the right tackle job last year. But he does stink that bad. So he didn't win the right tackle job this year. So he can't play right tackle. He can't play left tackle. He can't even really play left guard because they will play Aaron Brewer, who gets dominated by every single defensive tackle in the league because he's 280 pounds. And so they won't play Dylan Radins over Brewer. They won't play him at tackle over PT or Daly. Guys, he sucks. They're telling you he sucks. They are not going to play him. So instead of that, I got him on my team because it was apparently, according to TD, a very big point of contention for this ownership group when it came to firing the general manager, that him not working out was a big part of the equation. And I said at training camp that he didn't belong in the league. He didn't belong on the team. And Joe Rexrode got all mad and said, Robinson and Vrabel aren't going to keep guys just because it won't look good or will look good. And then we hear from TD after Robinson gets fired, yeah, Dylan Radins and Caleb Farley, big reason why John Robinson's not here. And so a lot of you all are clamoring that Dylan Radins play. Guys, he clearly stinks. And instead, he's going to sit there in his free time and like tweets that put down other players on this team. Get his ass out of here. You're gone. Fired. Goodbye. I don't need the bad players causing problems on the team. This, to me, is even more egregious than Darren Bates taking his helmet off and getting a 15-yard penalty in a preseason game. This is something that could have huge ramifications for that team. Because think about this. If I now know that Dylan Radins is liking tweets that are taking shots at Dennis Daly, guess who else probably knows? Ian, I want you to take a guess. If I know that Dylan Radins is liking these tweets that are taking cracks at Dennis Daly, Who else do you think knows this?
Probably Dennis Daly.
Okay. So when they go into the meeting room, all of a sudden, there is a chance that you've got a fractured room. And when my team is at the bottom right now, which is where they are from an emotional standpoint, the last thing that I need is more problems caused by Dylan freaking Radins. Get that freaking loser out of here. Gone. Goodbye. You're not traveling to Los Angeles. In fact, you're out of here. Instead, everybody's taking this as like some sort of sign that he might play. It's like hey, maybe, he says he's more comfortable at tackle, coach. Let's play him at tackle. And Vrabel was asked about Radins today, and I'm a little disappointed in Vrabel's response.
Taking some snaps beyond just the guard spot. How has he done in that regard? And is there any chance he might factor in the mix?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that we'll keep working with Dylan. Did some good stuff when he's been able to go in there. He's played a couple of different positions for us. Try to, expand, where he's at. So we'll see kind of where things lead on Sunday, and pretty good chance he'll probably play multiple positions.
Vrabel, hey, you know what? We might play him some positions this week. Why? You clearly think he's no good because you won't play him at left tackle. Dennis Daly is the left tackle. I thought after the strip sack that started the game, even though it was equally, in my opinion, Chigakonkwo's fault as much as it was Daly's, I thought that we may see LaRaven Clark go in there. But you so don't like Dylan Radins that last season you played at tackle David Quessenberry over Dylan Radins, Kendall Lamb over Dylan Radins, Ty Sambrilo over Dylan Radins, Bobby Hart over Dylan Radins. And this year you've played Nicholas Petit-Ferrer over Dylan Radins. And when Taylor Lewan got hurt in the Buffalo game and was out for the season, you played Dennis Daly, who had been on the team all of 15 minutes and is not very good, over Dylan Radins. And now when you go with an extra tackle in the game, you put in LaRaven Clark over Dylan Radins. And you're playing an undrafted free agent 270-pound guard in Aaron Brewer over Dylan Radins. Guys, he stinks. Like, there's no way around it. And now he's causing problems. And if you stink and you cause problems, get the hell out of here. So I know a lot of people saw this, and I'm sure the only reason that people are even asking Vrabel about Dylan Radins is because Dylan Radins liked those tweets, and now they're talking to Dylan Radins in the locker room. Why are you talking to who cares about the 53rd man on the roster? For a team that preaches no distractions, they're really, really, really finding a way to push the envelope about what they're about. I can't believe that Mike Vrabel saw that and didn't just light Dylan Radins up. That he didn't I'd cut him. I would. He is not worth it causing a friction in my offensive line room by liking 3 tweets. Get him out of here. End it. End this nightmare that has been him on this team. He freaking sucks. Trevor Maddich, who's the nicest guy in the world, he's on Chris Sanders level in terms of nice. Trevor has not said one good thing about Dylan Radins since the day the Titans drafted him. And we've only asked him about Radins 800 times. Radins has been given a shot to compete for every position on the offensive line except for center, and he's lost all of them. And now I got to deal with Johnny Joe in section 800 tweeting out about, Radins might be better than Dennis Daly, and Dennis Daly and Dylan Radins is hitting that like button. Get him out of here. I don't need any distractions from Dylan Radins. 615-737-1025. Bum. Get him out of here. Corey Curtis, News 2. Is he as down on this as I am? We'll get to Corey next. Stillman and Company, 102.5-1063. The Game. Let me tell all the fine folks out there on this wonderful, wonderful Fireball Hot Take Friday that if you want to win tickets in the lower bowl, section 102 for the Preds, just text the keyword Superbook, all one word, to the Game text line at 615-737-1025, and you will be entered to win. Win with 102.5 The Game and Superbook Sports. Superbook Sports, voted the #1 sportsbook in Vegas. Download their app today.
The Sports Talk doesn't end on Friday. Join Michelle Knezovic and Junie Riddle for Michelle and Junie.
Have they truly been tested yet?
I really want this to be a good game. Michelle and Junie, every Saturday morning at 9. Presented by Superbook Sports and the Nashville Jam Company.
I think Junie and I are going to go hit breakfast/brunch there after the show.
On 102.5 and 106.3, The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormonal deficiencies and imbalances. And Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve your quality of life. Improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458 or visit our website at coolspringsmd.com.
Family Leisure would like to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas from our family to yours.
Throughout this holiday season.
And to celebrate this joyous season, Family Leisure is having a Christmas sale up to 50% off everything in the store.
Wow, that'll really help out.
Arcade games, game tables, pool tables, even shuffleboard tables are on sale. Foosball and air hockey tables as low as $1.99 as well.
A pool table and game table from Family are a great gift for the family.
Family Leisure has spas in stock and on sale and ready for immediate delivery.
Wow, that sounds like a great gift to us.
Family Leisure has up to 50% off on infrared saunas, ready for immediate delivery as well.
But what about something for the kids?
Family Leisure has deluxe outdoor play gyms on sale and starting at just $26.99 installed. Vuli trampolines start at $22.99.
That all sounds great.
That's Family Leisure's Christmas sale going on now.
At both huge locations, Franklin and Antioch.
Nothing says I love you like the gift of jewelry. A sapphire ring, a diamond necklace, a colored gemstone earring, an anniversary band. And around here, the diamond destination is Genesis Diamonds. With decades of experience, our legendary value combined with worldwide connection, Genesis is here to help make this Christmas the most unforgettable ever. And to make it easy to splurge, our special 0% finance offer has been extended through Christmas Eve. So you can make any holiday purchase and spread your payments over 5 years and enjoy an interest rate of 0% with absolutely nothing down. Our showcases are filled with exquisite diamond rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, bands, as well as a fabulous selection of luxury pre-owned Rolexes, starting as low as $35 a month with nothing down. And if you're planning an engagement this holiday season, this special finance offer includes all of our designer engagement rings and all GIA certified diamonds. Buy now, spread your payments over 5 years with zero interest and nothing down. Say I love you louder than ever this holiday with the gift of diamonds from Genesis Diamonds. Green Hills in Cool Springs. On approved credit.
This holiday season, tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the hottest gifts from Titleist and Bushnell. Elevate your performance with Titleist TSR drivers designed to maximize distance. While you're there, grab a dozen Pro V1 or Pro V1X golf balls. And from Bushnell, save up to $75 on the Tour V5 and Tour V5 Shift rangefinders. We also have gift cards for those favorite golfers on your list. Don't miss these holiday gifts and more happening now at Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Have some family or friends in town for the holidays? Show them a good time. Great scratch food and even better scenic views at Twin Peaks. With plenty of shareable things on the menu, this is your place for holiday gatherings. Contact your favorite location for more info today.
It's on. It's happening. Remember, you can watch us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter.
Get out of the way, I'm watching the game.
Presented by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. You're listening to Stillman and Company.
Sounds like this has been a game-changing day for all of us.
Presented by TriStar Moving on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and on the Game Nashville app.
Still looking for Christmas gifts? Check out Nashville's best deals and get half-off gift cards for old school pizzas, seafood sensations, River Queen voyages, and more. Visit thegamenashville.com/deals now while supplies last. Let me tell you, I'm down. I'm down on the Titans. I know they're a 3-point underdog this week at the Chargers, but I mean, no. Lost all confidence in his offensive line, according to his mechanics from Bob Shoop, and according to D. Mace, talking about how he stays on the ground now after he gets hit. The Chargers do one thing well. They throw the ball. They probably got the next Dan Marino at quarterback. I am down, down, down. And now I got to deal with the fact that Dylan Radens is on Twitter liking tweets about how Dennis Daly sucks, which is probably fighting words inside the offensive line room if Daly got that mad about it. I'm down. Corey Curtis, News 2, joins us on the program. Corey, should I be this down or should I have some faith in the Titans?
Well, I think it's okay to have faith in the Titans, but I think it's also very reasonable to have a great deal of concern once again.
Where would you say the faith would come from? Do you have faith in the Titans?
Well, yeah, because number one, I've always said you don't put Mike Vrabel in a corner. Whenever things look their worst, he always manages to seem to come up with their best, which is one of the things that made last week, I guess, maybe a little bit more distressing or surprising you thought, okay, well, this is where he works, some magic, and they fell apart. But I'm a firm believer you're never as good as you are on your best day and never as bad as you are on your worst. And I think we've seen some of the worst that they've had to offer. And I think lost in last week's loss was they found a way to run the football again, and I think that's really important, especially going into this game against a team that is right now historically bad at stopping the run at 5.4 yards per carry. And so I think that gives me some hope as well as the fact that the Chargers are 7-6. They've got really one good win on their resume, so they haven't been a team that is. They haven't, rolled through the NFL. It's not like they're a world beater. And I don't believe Joey Bosa is coming back this week, is he?
So they asked Brandon Staley about it yesterday. Brandon Staley said that when we have an update, we'll let you know, what Staley said, which makes me think no. So
yeah,
make of that what you will. Corey, I was incredibly discouraged by everything that happened last week. I think that they lost because they fired the general manager during the week, and I think the team has lost their belief. And D-Mace was on the midday show earlier today, and he said that he thinks, based upon this season, that even the players on the team have lost faith. This is what D-Mace said on Chase Willie and D-Mace earlier today.
From my experience, when you know that deep down you don't have a team that can truly compete with those 4 or 5 teams that people believe will get to the playoffs and run the table and potentially get in the Super Bowl, when you know deep down you don't have the firepower to compete with them, it takes something out of you, especially if you have injuries. I don't think they truly believe the way this roster stands today, the injuries that they have. I don't think they believe truly that they can go out and beat a Cincinnati, beat a Kansas City, beat a Buffalo, beat the Eagles, teams that they faced.
Corey, what do you think about that?
Well, I agree and disagree. I do think that they believe that they can beat Kansas City and Cincinnati because they were one play away from beating both of them. They were right there. Look, everybody can look around the room and see what's there and what's not there, but we went through a lot of this last year. And so, I understand the challenges that are at hand, and that's the great challenge for Mike Vrabel is, getting the guys, to believe, getting them on page. And what do we talk about with their culture? Having them understand the next man up, and the next man up is expected to do his job and to get things done. And so, that's the challenge of the coaching staff. I think Mike Vrabel's done it before. I think, last week, I agree with you. When the owner fired the GM, she threw a grenade in the room. And, this is the example I've used for everybody. You can go, because I know Mike Vrabel and they all thought they had a good week of preparation. You can have a really adverse week, right? And you can handle everything that comes, and you get to the end of the week, and you think you handled it, and you think you moved on, and all of a sudden your 9-year-old daughter won't brush her teeth before school, and you just go ballistic on her. Mm-hmm. Well, it's not because she won't brush her teeth. It's because of everything else that happened in the last week, and I think that's what happened to the Titans last Sunday when they unraveled. is that the week got the best of them and they unraveled. Mike Vrabel's got to ravel them all back up again and get them back out there and going. He's an excellent football coach. He's an excellent leader of men, and we're going to find out how excellent. And I think that's where my belief is. And, they, without question, have issues. We know that. They had issues last year. And if Danico Autry is not playing, that's a big issue for this football team. But, I've seen him do it before. And, until there's a different, coaching staff, that's there, I'm going to maintain some of the same faith in their ability to do it.
See, here's my thing, though. Corey Curtis is our guest news, too. My thing with this is that when the owner says there's always lingering doubt, unless you're, the Eagles. There's always some form of lingering doubt, whether it's doubt in the coach or doubt in the system or doubt in a guy that's on your team or something like that. But when the owner fires the general manager, that is confirmation of the doubt of the players inside the room. And to me, that almost feels like the owner gave up on the team last week. And I just don't know how a team that has as many deficiencies as the Titans and is built on faith in each other, I don't understand how they regroup after something as drastic as that. Your thoughts?
Because you look in the mirror and you put your back against the guy next to you and you go to battle.
But we don't have that. We have Dylan Radins liking tweets about how Dennis Daly should be benched.
Well, does Dylan Radins play?
Well, I just say I cut Dylan Radins for that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't disagree with you. You can't have dissension. You can't have that type of atmosphere in your locker room for sure. And I think, and look, he could get cut without that tweet, right? Let's be realistic. He doesn't have that much room for error, and maybe he's pushing that button right now. I don't know. Who knows? But it comes down to, the character. And, I always say, Mike Vrabel told me this probably 3 years ago when we were talking about culture. And he said, I've always believed culture is what you are when things are at their very worst. And so we'll find out about this football team. And I think that, that's my belief is in the character of Jeffrey Simmons, Kevin Byard, Ben Jones, to get this team moving forward. Look, it could all come apart again. And maybe they don't have the talent to stop Keenan Allen and Mike Williams and Josh Palmer. That's real possible, right? I mean, that's definitively a possibility. I guess my faith is in their ability to get the team ready to play. I agree with you that it was the wrong. Like even if I don't have a problem with saying, hey, you're going to change GMs, this is the wrong time to do it. Okay, it was absolutely the wrong time to do it, and she found out why. All right, she probably thought, well, I want to see my other guys in action, and if I'm going to fire them, I'm going to fire them. So why? Well, this is why. I mean, we absolutely saw why nobody else does that because of the signal it signs, because of you become a distraction for your team if nothing else, and you can't have that. But
so I've been quoting you. I've been quoting you all week, Corey Curtis. I said I've been quoting you all week because you did say she's had 8 good years as an owner and 1 really bad week. Yeah, that is the only thing I can hang my hat on with that right now.
Yeah, I mean, look at all of the good things she's done. Look at Nissan Stadium compared to when she got there. Look at St. Thomas Sports Park compared to when she got there. Look at the wins and losses of the team before she got there. I mean, look at the relationship with the fans since before she got there. Everything was headed in a positive direction. And I've heard all the stuff about going in the direction of the Houston Texans. Believe me, it's a terrifying thought. I mean, I've covered good teams and I've covered terrible teams. I don't like covering terrible teams. It's not a heck of a lot of fun. So, this next few months is going to be big because we're going to find out if it's a bad week or a bad turn in direction.
Corey Curtis, Fireball Hot Take Friday. What's your hot take this week?
I don't know if this is a hot take or more of a Rex rant, but if I see one more tweet about the next GM's first line of business being to fire Todd Downing, I'm going to lose my darn mind, okay? Because let me put it out there one more time for everybody. The GM does not dictate the coaching staff to the head coach. If you want Mike Vrabel to quit, you will tell him who and who cannot be on his coaching staff. All right? That's how that works. Mike Vrabel decides who's on his coaching staff. And if the next GM comes in and says you have to fire Todd Downing, you know what's going to happen? It's going to be Mike Mularkey 2.0, and that's because the GM wants Vrabel to quit, and that's what he'll do. But the next GM is not going to tell Mike Vrabel how to operate his coaching staff unless he wants him to quit. That is not how it works. That decision is on the head coach. And he may make that move, he may not make that move. But that is his decision to make, and his alone, unless the people above him want him to leave, which he would do.
Well said. Corey Curtis, News 2, as always. Great stuff. TN Nation tomorrow night. Corey, great stuff. Appreciate you.
All right. Don't give up, guys. I tell you what, we've seen this all before. We could get a Kevin Byard touchdown pass, and everything will be better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you keep hanging on to that. Corey Curtis, as always. See you, Corey. So, speaking of no faith, Predators last night, losing in overtime. I have a couple of takes. We'll get to that coming up next here on the program. FanDuel Sportsbook. It's my official sportsbook app. Now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just sign up with the promo code JGM. FanDuel Sportsbook has all of your favorite bets, from the money line to point spreads to player props. And you can combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with a same-game parlay. With live betting, you'll get updated odds on games that have already started, and you'll get paid your winnings quickly. All on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. So sign up with the promo code JGM for your no-sweat first bet. That's promo code JGM, and make every moment more this season with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the National Football League. 21 and older in present Tennessee. First online real money wager only. Refund issue is non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889-9789.
Want a chance to win tickets to an upcoming Preds game?
Yes.
Tune in to Robbie and Rexroad every weekday Preds game day at 8:45 for Preds Pick to Click. Guess a goal scorer and win.
I'll take Roman Yossi.
Matt Duchene. Pick to Click is brought to you by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty. Visit tjandersonhomes.com to see why they are referred so often. And by Superbook Sports, voted #1 sportsbook in Vegas. Download their app today.
Preds Pick to Click.
We are 102.5 and 106.3. The Game.
Welcome to Smashville, home of the biggest hits in hockey and the loudest parties on Broadway. Join us at Bridgestone Arena Tuesday, December 19th for Teacher Appreciation Night as your Nashville Predators take on the Edmonton Oilers. And don't miss the December 23rd game as your Preds take on the Colorado Avalanche. Both games will feature a Preds Holiday Light Show. Purchase your tickets now at NashvillePredators.com/tickets. That's NashvillePredators.com/tickets. We can't wait to see you back inside Bridgestone Arena. Happy holidays, and let's go Preds.
Achieve hero status this year. The woman in your life will love this unique and thoughtful gift. Always in style, always fits, always appreciated. Choose your budget, and whether you spend a little or go lavish, she can choose from 10 different services, all under one roof at a Moment's Peace Salon and Day Spa. Gift cards can be printed directly from the website, or they can be beautifully wrapped for a stunning presentation and even paired with other gifts like robes, candles, and all sorts of fun finds from the Gift Boutique. Learn more about this at amomentspeace.com/Christmas.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Here we go.
Here comes the Sandman.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Adam Sandler.
1, 2, 3, 4.
live.
Should we clap along? I'm going to play guitar a little bit for you.
Adam Sandler.
Take him away!
Bridgestone Arena, Friday, February 17th.
All right, let's lose that. I hate it.
Get tickets now at livenation.com.
The Sports Talk doesn't end on Friday. Join Michelle Knezovic and Junie Riddle for Michelle and Junie.
Have they truly been tested yet?
I really want this to be a good game. Michelle and Junie, every Saturday morning at 9. Presented by Superbook Sports and the Nashville Jam Company.
I think Junie and I are going to go hit breakfast/brunch there after the show.
On 102.5 and 106.3, The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, this is Laura Rutledge from the SEC Network, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
1:35 left in OT. Lowry up ahead. Back past Connor. Connor right circle shot, and it trickles in. Saros got a piece of it, but not enough. And the Jets win 2-1 in overtime. Kyle Connor with the game-winning goal.
I don't know how many times Hal Gill can come on the program and say, hey, they know, Jared. They know they got to get it going. They got to get it turned around. They got to get it right, just like he did yesterday without just calling it what it is. The Preds are not very good. Let me say this. They played hard last night. I'm not knocking the effort. And the head coach, who probably has his days numbered around here, the head coach, he hasn't lost the room. Like, those guys are playing hard. I think those guys are listening to him. I do. I just don't think they're very good at all. And it's hilarious to me that after the way last year ended, where everybody said, okay, we thought that they weren't going to be able to compete with Colorado. They got out there. They weren't able to compete with Colorado. We heard your bull crap line about nobody predicted us to be in the playoffs. You finally got over saying that. You had the press conference, and we all wanted you to rebuild. We said, hey, it's been a nice run. It's over. The window has been shut. We know it's shut. We know it's time to move on. Rene's gone. It's a new era. And they're like, no. We promise. And everybody looked at them and said, no, you got career seasons out of Matt Duchene, Philip Forsberg, and Roman Josi, and a Vezina-level performance out of your goalie, and you still were the last team in the playoffs and got freaking smoked by the eventual Cup champions. Tear it down. And that's hard for fans to say. I've been doing this for 10 years now. Every fan that I've ever talked to is of the mindset of, let's trade all the draft picks and go for it. And now the fans here are like, tear it down. Tear it down. And this offseason, David Poyle, no, we're not going to do that. We believe, look at our team. And everybody around the world said, so you're banking on the seasons that you got out of Matt Duchene, Philip Forsberg, who was in his walk year, and Roman Josi. You are banking on those seasons to happen again. And you're expecting two guys that were not wanted by the club that let them go, Ryan McDonough, who is going to be waived by Tampa Bay, and Nino Niederreiter, who Carolina didn't want to sign. You're going to add those two guys, and now you're going to compete for the Cup. So you're going to get the same repeat performances, and you're going to take these guys that weren't wanted by their previous team, and now you've got a team. And they said yes. And now they put it out there on the ice, and they've lost 5 in a row. And again, I think we can all say this, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but they stink. They're playing their hearts out every night, and they're losing to Ottawa. And I love my hockey team. I do. I want what's best for them. And I believe that there's kind of a difference of opinion here between us, and I feel like I'm speaking for a lot of people here, and them. They keep thinking, whether it's Willie on the midday show, Hal Gill when he comes on this show, the coach, the general manager, the organization, they think, hey, it's still kind of early in the season, even though it's not. We're past Thanksgiving. It's not early, but, hey, it's still kind of early in the season. And we really believed in this group, even though nobody else did. We believed in them. So we just want to keep giving it a chance. We're going to try. And I'm honestly afraid because I don't think the Predators are as bad as they have played lately with the losing. I don't think they're a 5-in-a-row bad team. I don't think they're Arizona or Chicago or Anaheim or some of these awful teams. But I don't think they're any good. And so I kind of hope the losing continues a little bit so that they don't trick themselves like they have the last 2 years into thinking that they've got a team that can compete, when for the last 3 years they have not even come close. 3 years ago, they lost in the play-ins, not the play-offs, when they lost to Arizona. But, I mean, it's time to call it for what it is. This team's bad. They play at home against a bad Ottawa team. They lose to them. They play on the road against a bad St. Louis team. They lose to them. They play at home against two of the best offensive players and probably the best offensive team I've ever seen. A bad matchup for them. They lose. They play on the road in a tough game against Winnipeg, and they lose. So they lose to the good teams on the road. They lose to the good teams at home. They lose to the bad teams on the road. They lose to the bad teams at home. The reality is, they're bad. And so all I want is, I'm not trying to put them down. This is not like the Titans, who went out of their way, who had a good team a month ago, and went out of their way to just erode all faith in the operation. And so now I'm doubly angry because it's like they nuked their own season, and who knows what's going to happen going forward. With the Predators, I'm not putting them down. I'm not telling you all not to go to their games. I'm still a season ticket holder. I went last week. It's not that. It's that I am trying to make sure that everybody is on the same page, including them. That is, this group of dudes that you have, they're not going to compete for anything. They're not. They haven't competed for anything in a long, long time, and they are not going to compete for anything as is constructed. And it is not going to take just a minor addition or some new furniture in order to get this thing turned around. They need a major renovation. They may just need to demolish the house and rebuild, but they got too many contracts that are going to keep them from being able to do that. But it's obvious. Every night you tune in, you see a team that is giving it their all, and they still aren't very good. They get good goaltending, and so he steals them a couple of games. Anytime they play a team that has high-end offensive players, they lose. They will lose next Monday. But that's just what they are right now. They're just bad. And most of the time when teams are bad, like the Atlanta Falcons or the Carolina Panthers, hell, even the Colts. The Colts have the craziest owner in the league, maybe, and they realize we're bad. And so they've just decided, hey, we're just going to kind of roll through the rest of this season and then kind of restart everything up. The Predators seem to be the one organization David Poile cannot look in the mirror and say, we're bad. He can't do it. Mike Tomlin's a great coach of the Steelers. He can look in the mirror and say, we're bad. Pete Carroll is going to go to the Hall of Fame. He can look in the mirror and say, we're bad. Anaheim, Chicago, Arizona, those teams look in the mirror. San Jose, they're like, we're bad. The Predators, last year, almost every single team that finished below the Predators fired their coach. Almost every single one of them. Winnipeg last year, Paul Maurice quit in the middle of the year. They got a new coach. In fact, their coach was Dallas's coach, who after last year, Dallas fired their coach. He took them to the Cup final in 2019. John Hines hadn't won anything around here. And so I just hope that now we can all get on the same page. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. But I just want them to be in the same place where we all are, which is they're bad. That's all I want. I'm not saying that anybody should be fired today. I don't understand why certain people that have their jobs there have their jobs. Not saying they should be fired right this second. But I just want us all to agree on something right now. They're bad. Not they're bad right now, but they're bad. Like, this team is bad. This team cannot compete for a championship. It is time to take it back a notch. 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. I know that they're going to say, hey, it's still early in the season. We want to turn it around. But there is one particular stat, and I shouldn't say stat because it's not like an on-ice thing. It's an analytic thing about the Predators. And if you've got a Predator call, get it in now because this is where we're going to hit this. But there is one percentage that I find to be wild, and it's in favor of what we all think needs to happen. We'll get to that next. Stillman and Company right here, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Let me tell all the fine folks out there. By the way, it was not an enjoyable post-game show for John Hines last night. That I can promise you. Let me tell all the fine folks out there to tune in to the game of the week this Sunday on 94.9 The Fan. This game will be the Dallas Cowboys and the Jacksonville Jaguars at noon, and the NFL game of the week is brought to you by Red Spirits and Wine in Bellevue and Superbook Sports. Voted the number one sports book in Vegas. Download their app today. And let me tell all the fine folks to play silly underdog picks. Pick 3 football underdog teams you think will win this week for a chance to win great prizes. Play now at thegamenashville.com. Silly underdog picks presented by Volunteer Hose and Gasket and Superbook Sports. Voted the number one sports book in Vegas. Download their app today.
Your home for the MTSU Blue Raiders is 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. Every touchdown.
Yes, touchdown.
Every three.
Free ball, yes, sir.
It all lives here.
Middle Tennessee.
You can also hear the Blue Raiders in the Borough on 97.5. Middle Tennessee Athletics on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
We'll see mostly sunny skies today and stay dry with high temperatures in the upper 40s. There could be a little bit of a breeze for us, too, with winds around 5 to 15 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear skies and low temperatures falling to the upper 20s. For Fox 17, I'm meteorologist Brett Luna.
Brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Hey, Teron Davenport here for Superbook Sports. When it comes to sports, it's all happening right now. Football, basketball, hockey, and soon enough, the World Cup. And there's no better place to wager on all of it than Superbook Sports. When you sign up, deposit, and wager in the same day, Superbook will give you a bonus up to $1,000. Yes, $1,000. When the sports world is busy, it's time to get busy winning some money. So download the Superbook Sports app or visit superbook.com to wager and win today. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789.
Busch Live 2023 Tour, February 20th, Ryman Auditorium. Busch, with very special guest Candlebox. The hits and music from the new album, The Art of Survival, out now. Tickets on sale now at Ryman.com. Busch, sponsored by PNC Bank and Access, proud partners of Ryman Auditorium.
Happy holiday from Houston Clinic Orthopedics, conveniently located where you live and work with various locations in and around the Nashville area. Houston's physicians specialize in spine, joint replacement, knee, hip, upper extremity, and many other orthopedic conditions. At Houston Clinic Orthopedics, they strictly adhere to all CDC guidelines for the patient's and staff's safety. To experience world-class orthopedic care and see a list of all Houston physicians and specialties, visit their website at tn.houston.com and book your appointment online today.
Do you know a special woman who deserves nothing but the best for the holidays? This Christmas, spoil her with soft, silky, naturally nude pajamas. The next best thing to wearing nothing at all. Naturally nude pajamas, exclusively at Pajamagram, are smooth to the touch, light as air, truly seductive. Order today and Pajamagram will include a free matching naturally nude nightie. That's a $75 saving on a best-selling holiday gift. Yes, ordering today gets you a free $75 nightie. Definitely an effortless way to let her know how much you care. Now you can give her 2 sensuous gifts that she'll love to relax in. But hurry. Year after year, naturally nude pajamas sell out. So here's what you need to do. Head to pajamagram.com or text the word GIFT to 41234. That's GIFT to 41234. Order today, ships tomorrow.
Robbie Stanley.
It really doesn't matter until the pads come on, and you have to hit each other, you have to block.
Joe Rexrode.
Reliable, go out and make some plays for you. Solid player.
Get your morning started with Robbie and Rexrode every weekday from 6 to 10 on Nashville's Best Sports Talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. You're listening to Stillman and Company.
Presented by TriStar Moving.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and on the Game Nashville app.
John, what did you think of the team's overall effort through each period?
I thought the first period was pretty good. At the second period, they gained a lot of momentum, and then I thought third period both teams had different pushes.
How about UC Saros tonight, kind of keeping the team in the game?
Yeah, he played really well.
In overtime, obviously, it was a tough bounce there at the end. Do you feel like he kind of kept the team, made the game as close as it was?
Who?
Saros.
Yeah, he made a lot of good saves tonight. And, it was a battle where we got 1 point. We got to find a way to get two.
Not happy overall with the shot suppression or that facet of the game for your club?
Well, I thought they did. They got a lot of shots too on the power play, and I thought they had some shifts where they got a lot of, they had a shot retrieval mentality. There was, some shifts in the game where they had some sustained offensive zone time for sure, and that resulted in the shot difference.
Were you expecting a game with that much sandpaper between these two?
Yeah.
Yeah. What made you expect that?
In my time here, they've always been like that. Central Division rival, and both teams bring out competitive nature in each other.
My goodness, I don't know what's worse. Hines' dejection after that post-game interview right there, or the quality of the audio itself. Goodness gracious. I mean, look, I know they're up against the cap, but can we get a little recorder or something and get a little bit better audio coming back? Goodness gracious. But that's neither here nor there. The team is not good. I feel bad for the coach, and you can feel it, kind of from his – John Hines is a talker. That entire postgame, Ian, didn't you say that was 1 minute and 8 seconds?
Correct. Yep.
Isn't the average John Hines answer to anything over 1 minute and 8 seconds?
I mean, it's 1 minute, 8 seconds, that's bordering Laviolette territory there.
I mean, that is, even for John Hines, like a regular pregame question, that is a short, 1 minute, 8 seconds is a short answer for John Hines. So for his entire postgame to be 1 minute, 8 seconds, that tells you how he feels. Now, I feel bad for him. I don't think that, he has done enough to probably keep his job, but I also don't think that the reason that they are bad is because of him necessarily. But there is one analytic, I think it's the right word, statistic, analytic, I don't know, you pick, that is telling me that I want the Predators to hear this. I want them to hear exactly what I'm about to say. MoneyPuck.com. I don't know how they come up with their percentages. I don't care. According to MoneyPuck, the Nashville Predators have a 1.9% chance at making it to the Stanley Cup final, not winning it. They have a 0.4% chance to win the Stanley Cup. They have a 1.9% chance of making it to the Stanley Cup final. That's bad. They have a 3.8% chance in order to get the number one pick. And you think, well, wait a minute, what are you talking about here? Neither percentage is good, I would agree. That neither the 1.9 to get to the Cup final is a good percentage, but the 3.8 to get the number one pick, and this year that matters because it's Connor Bedard, is actually double the chance that they have, according to MoneyPuck, of getting to the Cup final. So what should that mean? When the odds of getting the number one pick, and we're told that the number one pick is a transcendent player, when the odds are double that of reaching the Cup final, which is the goal, what does that tell you, Ian, that they should do?
Well, I don't know. You saying tank?
Tank! The last couple of years, the Predators have found themselves at a crossroad. And the crossroad has always been, do we go for it or do we not go for it? And a lot of teams around the league are willing to invest in not going for it. Chicago, who went for it for a decade, they're not going for it. If somebody will offer them something good for Patrick Kane, they will trade him. They are willing to not go for it. And sometimes it's like that. It's like the Kenny Rogers song. Got to know when to hold them, got to know when to fold them. Right now, you've got double the chance at getting Connor Bedard. They tell me he is a transcendent player. I don't know hockey prospects. I am not going to pretend to be Mel Kiper Jr. on that. But you've got double the chance of doing that as you do of going to the Cup final. So why? Why try to push forward? Why not pull back? I know why the coach doesn't want to do it, because he'll get fired. I know why the general manager doesn't want to do it, because he's 70-something years old, and the new owner is going to come in, and surely the new owner is not going to put up with the ineptitude that we have seen with personnel decisions. So I know why they don't want to do it. The players are not paid to lose, so I know why they don't want to do it. But you're talking about double the chance of getting the number one pick. And again, I don't know what the talent pool is this year for the NHL draft. I know the Predators don't draft very well, but I don't know what the overall talent pool is. Maybe it's a very deep draft. Maybe it's just this one guy. But they need high-end talent. The only way you get high-end, young, game-changing talent is you have to draft it in this league. That's it. Or you have to have somebody have a young player that they think is a pony who is actually a horse. And that's how you got Philip Forsberg when you decided in 2014 to not go for it. So all I'm using is Money Puck. And Money Puck says they have double the chance to get the number one pick and Connor Bedard that they do of making it to the Cup final. So if I've got a chance to get, and they say he's transcendent, I've got a chance to get this guy, and it's better than my chance to win, I'm taking it. Because if I get him, then I can win for years and years and years and years and years. And let's even talk about the business side of this if you're the Predators. If you don't win this year, like if you pull back, I think the Predators will sell tickets no matter what. But if you pull back, there may be some people that don't buy tickets, that would have bought tickets. I don't know. But if you get Connor Bedard at number one overall, you'll have people buying tickets for 15 years. This is a simple play. So just keep that in mind. They have double the percent chance at landing the number one pick than they do of making it to the Cup final, according to Money Puck. Travis texts in, phone line driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com. Travis texts in and says, the Hines special is that the Preds are going to dominate in the second half. I hope not, but that's his calling card. Crap for half, great for the other half, miserable to watch. Agree. Like, I'm torn on this John Hines thing because I don't think John Hines has the answer in order to get them out of this. And I feel bad for Hines. Normally when a coach gets fired, it's because he's lost the room. It's because there's something wrong with it. It's broken. It's time to make a change. And they go out there and Hines has not lost the room. But I would fire him only because I don't want him to have a good second half, because I don't want to make it to the first round losing 5 games and not get Connor Bedard and then have the general manager think that we're just 1 or 2 pieces away next year. Because it's the same cycle over and over and over again. And it's the same way that you get beat by Arizona in the play-in series. You get beat by Carolina. You get beat by Colorado. And whoever you'll play this year, if you make it, you'll get beat. Whereas right now they have double the chance to get the number one pick. 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. I'll tell you about the NFL. The NFL is a socialist government society. And so I saw something yesterday that opened my eyes to how the Titans are not taking advantage of this system. We'll get to that coming up next here on the program, here on a Fireball Hot Take Friday for Stillman and Company. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Catch the Eddie George Show featuring Jonathan Hutton on 102.5, 106.3 The Game, Tuesdays at 6 o'clock, live from 6th and Peabody. The Eddie George Show is brought to you by Low T Centers and Xander Insurance. Xander gives you more options. More options means more savings for you. Free quote at XanderInsurance.com.
Stuck at work without a radio?
Wait a minute. Disastrous.
I hate that.
It's got to be there.
That's okay. Download the Game Nashville app or go to thegamenashville.com and listen live. We are Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen. In 1972, a Nashville family business story began when Bill and Beverly Finley founded Volunteer Hose and Gasket. 3 generations have grown the business into the local industry leader supplying just about anything to anybody, from the largest of contractors to your neighbor that mows his own yard. Over 1 million items in stock: belts, belting accessories, gaskets, gauges, hose fittings, hydraulics, industrial hoses, lubricants, sealing products, tubing, fire protection, and more. All at volunteerhose.net. If Volunteer Hose and Gasket doesn't have it, then you probably don't need it. Call them at 615-242-0461.
Response to Genesis Diamond's remarkable free financing offer has been so incredible that we're extending it through Christmas Eve. Last minute shoppers, we've got you covered with 5 years zero interest financing on any purchase with $0 down. So you can splurge on that handcrafted diamond ring and spread it over 60 whole months. Studs, bracelets, necklaces, bands, every color and every shape, starting at only $35 a month with $0 down. You can use this amazing offer on anything: designer engagement rings, classics like diamond pendants and bracelets. All our hand-selected GIA certified diamonds are included, and so are our luxury pre-owned Rolexes. At Genesis, we've got our best collection ever, with case after case of stunning gifts that are romantic and timeless. And with Genesis guaranteed best value price and 5 years zero interest, $0 down financing offer, you can make this the best Christmas ever and still stay in budget. Merry Christmas from Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. Unapproved credit.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
All of us who work for Cromwell Media, the owner of this radio station, take a great deal of pride in our work. We honor each other for making a difference on our team and in our community. This month, we're congratulating Austin Fullwider, who handles our commercial logs for 6 years of service, and Sean Fort, our Director of Sales, along with David Janes, one of our part-time producers on 102.5, 106.3 The Game, are each celebrating 2-year anniversaries. Want to be part of what we do? Contact us at together@cromwellmedia.com and let's have a conversation.
Christmas shopping is in full swing at Electronic Express. Come into our convenient locations for great deals on all of your favorite brands like Samsung, Microsoft, LG, Sony, Apple, and more. Electronic Express has huge savings in every department: 4K TVs, computers, appliances, smart home, headphones, gaming, and more. Save up to 40% with up to 48 months free financing. Shop in-store or online at electronicexpress.com and get free express delivery on most items. Electronic Express, we make Christmas happen.
These are battles, these are grinds. We don't panic, we don't freak out. That's how we're built. 1, 2, 3, 9.
This is your drive to the playoffs update, presented by Coleman Tractor, Tennessee's largest Kubota dealer, on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
The Tennessee Titans wrapped up their week of practice on Friday as they get ready to take on the LA Chargers. The Titans will have a tough task trying to slow down the Chargers' passing offense and quarterback Justin Herbert. Head coach Mike Vrabel on what makes Herbert such a challenge to defend.
I think the arm talent is fantastic. I think the ability to move and extend plays. I saw a stat where he, I think, had the most yardage outside the pocket the other night than any quarterback in the league. I think he had 150 yards outside the pocket, whether that's design plays for him to get out there or he's getting out there himself on third down, looking to throw but can run, can put it anywhere. So puts a lot of stress on you as guys start to uncover, whether that's out in the field or in the red zone.
The following players have been ruled out for the game for the Titans: defensive lineman Danico Autry, wide receiver Traylon Burks, wide receiver C.J. Board, cornerback Christian Fulton, cornerback Trey Avery, safety Amani Hooker, and running back Dontrell Hilliard. Kickoff for Titans versus Chargers is set for 3:25 on Sunday. This report is presented by Coleman Tractor. I'm Ian Safar for 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Live from the Game Nashville studios. WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Robbie and Rex Road, Chase, Willie, and D-Mace.
Stillman and Company. Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3.
Ranks and he scores! On both sides of the ball. One big possession. Touchdown, Middle Tennessee.
The Game.
A Cromwell media station.
Where you have a voice.
We're one play away from an injury.
He knows this. He's a study of the game.
And we have strong opinions.
He's been awful. I don't think they were trying, and that's why I feel the way I feel.
This is Stillman and Company with Jared Stillman and Caroline Fenton. Presented by TriStar Moving on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is delivered by TriStar Moving, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook Live. Thanks to the offices of Amanda J. Gentry. Fireball Hot Take Friday. Caroline did the midday show today. So the NFL is a socialist government. I've said this many times. The best team gets the worst pick in the draft. The worst team gets the easiest schedule. They play all fourth-place teams. The way the waiver wire works, the teams that are bad get to claim players from other teams before the teams who are good. It's as simple as that. They have a salary cap. It's not real, but they have one. And so, in all, they want everybody to be 9-8 or 8-9 every year. And yet there's always the same teams that contend. Either the teams that have the high-end quarterbacks like Cincinnati, or the teams that are smarter than you, that draft better than you, that have better infrastructure than you, that coach better than you, and develop better than you. And yesterday it was on full display. I got jealous last night watching Brock Purdy, the third-string quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers on Thursday Night Football, go out there and play in command against the Seattle Seahawks. And to be sitting there watching Brock Purdy and thinking to myself that Malik Willis was taken 3 rounds ahead of Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy was the last pick in the NFL draft this year. And Malik Willis was drafted 3 rounds ahead of him. And in the 2 games that we've seen Malik play, we know he can't throw. Brock Purdy's out there for San Francisco, and he's totally in command. Now, do I believe the San Francisco 49ers draft board had Brock Purdy ahead of Malik Willis? No, I don't think they did. I think they probably had Malik Willis evaluated as a 3rd or 4th round pick, and had he been there and they'd been on the clock and not had another need and not had a better player ahead of him, they probably would have drafted Malik Willis in the 4th round or so. But they took a quarterback in the 7th round. And through 3 games as their quarterback, he's got a 100 quarterback rating. Aaron Rodgers, by comparison, this year is 92.4. And the reason why San Francisco is able to win games with Brock Purdy as their quarterback is because they've got a genius as an offensive coach. And I just sit back and I watched the game yesterday and I sent out a tweet, and this was a joke. It was a facetious tweet. Some people, I think, took it seriously. And I said, Brock Purdy or Joe Burrow for the next 15 years will take your phones. I don't actually think that. But what Brock Purdy has is he's got the infrastructure. Great offensive coach, good running back, good receivers, and the second best tight end in the league. And that's why Brock Purdy is able to thrive. When the Titans had a genius as their offensive coordinator in Arthur Smith, they were the second best offense in the league. And I know some of you are probably sitting there rolling your eyes and saying, but Jared, that team had David Quessenberry at left tackle. Is Quessenberry an upgrade from Dennis Daly? Sure. Is he that much better than Dennis Daly? Nope. But Jared, that team had a backup right tackle too. You know what's crazy? John Robinson let Corey Davis and Jonnu Smith, who both had career years for the Titans, he let them walk in free agency. And there was talk, Chris Sanders said they should franchise tag Corey Davis. That would have been $16 million for Corey Davis. This season, Corey Davis has 26 catches. Austin Hooper has 32. So Austin Hooper, who probably doesn't catch the ball enough for the Titans, has more catches than Corey Davis, who's making double the money. Only 26 catches. Jonnu Smith, who signed for $50 million from the New England Patriots. Jonnu Smith has 22 catches, the same as Dontrell Hilliard. A $50 million tight end has as many catches as your third down running back. Why? Because those guys were able to cash in after having played for the offensive genius. I know A.J. Brown's not out there, and it'd be really nice if the Titans had A.J. Brown. I know. And A.J. Brown's good, and if A.J. went to the Patriots, A.J. would be good, and if A.J. went to the Jets, A.J. would be good. I know. But the offense isn't simply, well, they had A.J. Brown and now they don't. The difference between A.J. Brown and not A.J. Brown was 17th last season in total offense, 29th this season. It's a drop, but it's not second to 29th. It's the genius coaching it. Arthur Smith was a genius as far as offensive football was concerned. He turned Ryan Tannehill into Joe Montana statistically. Then he comes back the next year, more film on Tannehill in your system. Derrick Henry's now established himself as the best running back in the NFL. And he comes back the next season, and Tannehill has an even better year, and Derrick Henry runs for 2,000 yards. And again, the guys he was doing it with, outside of Henry and A.J. Brown, 26 catch Corey Davis, 22 catch Jonnu Smith. Think about that. That is the offensive genius at work. In the socialist government NFL, the difference between a lot of these teams is they've got the genius coaching their guys on offense, and you've got Todd Downing coaching your guys. How often do we see Cody Hollister run out on the football field and we know exactly what they're going to do? How often do we see Jeff Swaim out there and we know he's not a threat? It was so nice having Arthur Smith as the offensive coordinator of the Titans. In fact, I'm watching the game last night, and you guys know I have just an unbelievable amount of respect for Kyle Shanahan as an offensive genius coach. And he is an offensive genius coach. But I'm watching this game last night, and I'm thinking, gosh, I miss Arthur Smith. By the way, Logan Woodside, he couldn't beat out Malik Willis for the backup job. Arthur needs a backup. Logan Woodside's in. I trust Logan Woodside. And I bet you Logan Woodside, if he gets out there on the field for the Falcons, I bet he plays better than he would have ever played here because he's got Arthur Smith as his coach. Mike Vrabel can laugh about it all he wants or, say we're not making any coaching staff changes, or he can say whatever, and we can blame the general manager, fire him, we do whatever we want. But the discrepancy in the offensive coaching between the genius and maybe Todd Downing's average. Now, there's nothing about his career that would indicate that he is an average coordinator. That's the difference between genius and not genius. Genius, I've got the last pick of the draft with a better quarterback rating in 3 games than Aaron Rodgers. He beat Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. Not genius. I've got Malik Willis in there, and on a 3rd down and 8, I'm handing the ball off to my 3rd down running back and punting. That's the difference. Gosh, I miss genius. And it was on full display last night. I mean, it was on full display last Thursday night. Baker Mayfield shows up on a Tuesday, and on Thursday, he's leading a 98-yard drive to win the game.
That first Kittle touchdown last night, that play, I don't know if you saw it specifically. Kittle? Yeah, the first Kittle touchdown. I mean, it was beautifully designed. That little screen.
There was nobody
there. Wide open. Nobody there.
And Arthur had those When Arthur was the coach here, how many times did we see Tannehill roll something out and then turn around and there's a wide open Davis or a Jonnu Smith with nobody by?
Especially in the red zone like that.
Oh,
he was great with those plays in the red zone.
I miss the genius.
Yeah, calling those kind of, I don't want to call them gimmick plays necessarily, but just a little bit of a flair. And now with the flare passes that they use with they try to misdirection, but it's almost way too telegraphed. They don't do it correctly.
How often do you watch a Titans game and think, wow? That's what Arthur used to do here. That's what that Kittle play was. Yes, genius. And I miss it when the Titans had an offensive genius. 615-737-1025. We'll get to your phones. Phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHunting.com. Weston's been holding patiently on a Preds thought. Thank you for calling. What you got, Weston?
Yes, thanks, Jared, for taking my call.
Sure.
Real quick, one thing with the Preds that has been our bread and butter now for past seasons is our goaltending. Do you think possibly Saros and maybe even move Askarov up to the backup role and maybe seeing if that sparks a little bit more of a defensive mindset from this?
I don't want to spark anything. I want to lose, Weston. I don't want to spark. You want to spark. Thank you for your call. You might want to spark. I do not want to spark. I do not. I want to lose.
Zero sparks.
No sparks. No fake hope. I don't want that. I do not want that. This team has proven they cannot take fake hope, that they cannot look at themselves in the mirror and say, I know we won a little bit, but we got to make a change. They win one game. They win tomorrow night against Colorado, and I guarantee you, they think they're on the right track. I already know. No. 615-737-1025. Todd Downing, the non-genius here. Todd Downing was asked about the third downs. I didn't know it was this bad. So I went and researched it. Does what Todd Downing says about the offensive ineptitude hold up? We'll get to that next. Stillman and Company, Fireball Hot Take Friday, 102.5, 106 The Game.
Want the latest on college football and Nashville sports?
He looks like 1,000 quarterbacks I've seen in a college game.
Join Outkick 360's Chad Withrow every Friday at 5 with Stillman and Company.
The coaching staff kept him and got rid of the other guys.
He'll bring opinions and charisma for a full half hour every week.
If he's so great in the locker room, then give him a coaching gig.
Chad Withrow is presented by Two Rivers Ford. Custom order your new Ford from Two Rivers Ford on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
If you own a house, you've got a huge asset, and everyone's looking at it. With Wall Street investors buying up homes in Nashville and renting them out like never before, you have to wonder, what do they see in your big asset that you don't? The truth is, if you sell your home instead of renting it, you can kiss your asset goodbye. Especially with today's higher interest rates, the best way to save your asset is to rent it out instead. Go to renterswarehouse.com to book your free home rental price analysis today. Or call 615-398-9550. Renters Warehouse. You can't buy happiness, but you can rent it.
The Nashville Jam Company is already a super popular weekend breakfast and brunch destination. But with summer over, it's time to put the beach body away for a while. So for fall, they've expanded their offerings and added what they call the Meat and Three menu. Yeah, cool weather and Southern comfort food go hand in hand. And the stars of this show are the hefty meatloaf, Southern fried catfish, slow-cooked pot roast, fried chicken, Salisbury steak, and a slew of other rib, stick, and delicacies. And they have salads, too, if you're into that kind of thing. Come see the new menu Monday through Friday from 10:30 till 2.
With PatriotSoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money.
Mike Keppel here, serial entrepreneur. I started my first business in a dingy basement of a factory in 1986. Instead of customers, my visitors were rats, birds, flies, and snakes. To psych myself up that I was going to succeed, I wore formal business attire and a tie to that lonely factory basement every day. I was a total type A business geek, crunching spreadsheets for my accounting. Today, my fifth successful business, Patriot Software, makes accounting simple for accountants and non-accountants alike, eliminating the need for many of us business geeks to crunch spreadsheets or wear formal business attire ever again. Go to PatriotSoftware.com. Use promo code RADIO and get 2 months of accounting software free. That's PatriotSoftware.com.
Accounting and payroll, keep your time and money.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
This message is for the guy who isn't perfect in the bedroom. And let's be honest, who is? Maybe the issue is getting it up or keeping it up, or maybe it's finishing too soon. If any of these performance hiccups sound familiar to you, don't sweat it. Hims can help. At 4hims.com, you can go online and get clinically proven prescription medication that treats these issues prescribed for you, if appropriate, by licensed medical providers. And the medication is shipped free to your door in discreet packaging. Plus, Hims gives you unlimited follow-up visits with medical providers. No one's perfect in the bedroom every time, but with Hims, you can get a lot closer than before. And chances are, your partner will agree.
To get started today, go to 4hims.com/perfect. That's 4hims.com/perfect for your free visit. FORHIMS.com/PERFECT.
Here we go.
Here comes the Sandman.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Adam Sandler.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Live.
Should we clap along? I'm going to play guitar a little bit for you.
Adam Sandler.
Take him away!
Bridgestone Arena, Friday, February 17th.
All right, let's lose that. I hate it.
Get tickets now at LiveNation.com.
We want to hear from you.
Thanks for taking the call.
Join the conversation. Call or text at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. You're listening to Stillman and Company.
Sounds like this has been a game-changing day for all of us.
Presented by TriStar Moving on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
I know some play callers come manage fun time at halftime to kind of do a mini script.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do that or try to do that?
Yeah, to an extent, yes. You know, we certainly rank what runs we want to come back to in what order, talk about complementary play passes and things of that nature. Yeah, there's a dialogue with the entire staff, again, with taking input from some of the players. We just need to go execute better, and I got to help put them in situations to do that.
There you go. That was Todd Downing yesterday. Now, I will say this, word on the street. Somebody I trust told me Vrabel's doing the play calling on offense, but Todd Downing is, I guess, the person that we assign with the offensive play calling. You all know how I feel about Downing. I am out on Todd Downing, but I also don't want to hear something and just roll my eyes. And so yesterday he was asked about the fact, and I did not know this until Paul Kaharski brought this up in the question, but Todd Downing with the Titans offense, 13 games, 10 times the first drive of the second half has been a 3-and-out. 10 times. That is staggering. Kaharski asked Todd Downing about that. Here's what Todd Downing said.
Certainly not, something that we feel we're clicking on all cylinders coming out of halftime, but we've had basically inventing new ways of putting ourselves behind the sticks. Last week, for example, taking you through that drive, we come out of halftime, repeating a run that we liked from the first half, made an adjustment to a combination block, didn't execute that well on the front side, but on the back side, we get an illegal chop block. Now we're 1st and 22. I can hand the call sheet to anybody in the stands at that point. You're behind the sticks, and you're just looking, to try to get half back, and get yourself in third and manageable. We wound up in 3rd and 27. You're not going to convert very many of those. And so we've got to avoid those negative plays. I think that we've shown as an offense that when we gain positive yards, and not even necessarily big chunks in the second half, I think back to last year, that was a strength of ours coming out of halftime and being able to get some things going. And so we just need to be more consistent, staying on schedule so that we're not in these second and extra long, third and extra long looks.
So to translate that for you, because it sounds like a lot of words, but to translate that for you, Todd Downing covers for himself. We're inventing new ways to get behind the sticks. Last week we get the chop block on Jeff Swaim. Not my fault. And I could hand the play sheet to anybody in the stadium. They couldn't do anything about it. Again, not my fault. Then he talks about how, we just have to find a way. Last year we were really good at this. Last year when we had A.J. Brown. This year we don't have A.J. Brown. Not my fault. That was what Todd Downing was telling you with that. Just to translate it. That last year thing, that's not an accident. When we talk about last year, who was here last year, who's not here this year, you know it. So I went back. Caroline makes fun of me because I have this little filing folder thing, this expandable file that almost every adult has if they don't have like a giant filing folder at their house. And I have all of my notes from every game throughout the season in there. So I literally pulled it up. Because what's the one rule that we have here? Got to be fair. Got to be fair. So I wanted to go through each first drive of the second half and see, is it coaching or was it the player's fault? And normally, in any given moment when I'm watching the tape back, either that night or the next morning, I will write down if I thought it was a bad call or if I thought a player made a mistake. So here you go. Giants, 3rd down and 1, they ran a direct snap to Derrick Henry and he fumbled it. Coaching. That's a coaching mistake. No more direct snaps to Derrick Henry. By the way, do you think they've gotten that out of the playbook yet, Ian?
I don't know. I was thinking about that. What's the one thing, we love Henry, but what's the one thing he gets a knock for?
The direct snap.
His pass catching, and his hands are like
stone.
So, we can't be doing that too much because his hands are not what we need back there.
So that one, coaching. Then they got a first down against Buffalo. The Raiders, 3rd and 11. I wrote that it was a bad play call. Nobody was open. Tannehill threw an interception, and I did see this at the game that Tannehill went right up to Woods and yelled at him after the interception. So you could say it's part Woods' fault, but at the same time, 2 of the 5 plays on that drive had Cody Hollister in them, including a run on first down. Coaching. So first one, coaching. Second one, coaching. Third one was a 3rd and 24. And I wrote on the second down, Tannehill got sacked on a dumb call. That was at Indianapolis. Coaching. 5, Washington, 3rd and 8. They lost 2 on a throw to Hilliard on 3rd and 8. But, as my note said, Robert Woods had a brutal drop on second down. Now, file that Robert Woods drop away. Trust me, we will be circling back to that. Because of the Robert Woods drop that would have been a first down, I have to say that's on the players. Can't put that one on Downing. Then they scored a touchdown against Houston in their first drive of the second half. Kansas City, 3rd and 8. They ran Haskins on 3rd and 5. I wrote in my notes, no throw, ? If the notes say it was a bad call, coaching. So now we've got 5 coachings of all of the reasons that they have not been successful. Denver, 3rd and 3. Hilliard gains 2. Daly missed a block. That's the player's fault. Green Bay, they had a touchdown drive. They actually had the big throw to Okonkwo for 31 on that drive. Got to give credit to the coaching. That was the Derrick Henry pop pass to Hooper in the end zone. Not bad there. Cincinnati, 3rd and 6. Tannehill sacked. Davis and Petit Ferrer get worked on a stunt. And Robert Woods dropped the ball again on second down. Players. Philadelphia, 3rd and 8, Tannehill sacked, bad block by Daly, Brewer, and Petit Ferrer, and Robert Woods dropped the ball on second down. Players. Last week, Jeff Swaim got the crackback block on first down. I guess you could say players. They ran the ball on 1st and 22. So at the end of the day, they've had 13 drives, 10 of which have been 3 and outs to start the second half. 5 coaching errors, 5 player errors, 3 of which have been drop passes by Robert Woods. So it's not all Downing's fault. As much as it would be easy, you guys know I can't stand Todd Downing. As easy as it would be to blame Todd Downing for all that, I decided you got to be fair. I went back and looked at it. You got 2 Derrick Henry direct snaps, which screwed things up. That I put on the coaching. You've got Cody Hollister's, the Cody Hollister drive against the Raiders. Got to blame coaching. No throw on 3rd and 8 at Kansas City, running the ball with Hilliard. Got to blame the coaching. But then you've got 3 drops from Robert Woods, bad protection. Jeff Swaim gets a crackback block. It's not all the coaching, as much as I'd love to get on Downing. That being said, Downing is certainly at least 50% of the problem here. If he's the one doing the play calling. If it's Vrabel, then you have to blame Vrabel. And I have heard, again from somebody I trust, Vrabel's calling plays. But Downing's up there talking about the problems with those first drives of the second half. I'd say it's 50% coaching, 50% playing. By the way, I didn't think that was a crackback block on Jeff Swaim. So I asked somebody who would know. Apparently they changed the rule this year. Because Swaim was off the line of scrimmage, it was an illegal crackback block. Had he been on the line of scrimmage, it would have not been an illegal crackback block. Crazy the details.
Interesting. I wonder what the difference is there.
Fascinating. I know. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. We'll get back into your phone. 615-737-1025. Plus, Bill Polian says that this is the game, the Titans offense that we are so down on, and I am down on them. And I know a lot of you are too. Bill Polian says this is the game for the Titans offense. What if they can't get it going? We'll get to that next. Stillman and Company, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
This is Tanner Janot, and this is Smashville.
And now down the right wing side, Tanner Janot. His shot, he scored! Tanner Janot with the shot!
This is the flagship of the Nashville Predators Radio Network. ESPN 1025, The Game.
Family Leisure would like to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas from our family to yours.
Merry Christmas!
Family Leisure is having a Christmas sale, up to 50% off on everything in the store.
Wow, that really helps.
Arcade games, game tables, pool tables, even shuffleboard tables are on sale. Foosball and air hockey tables as low as $199 as well.
Those are great gifts for the family.
Family Leisure has spas in stock and on sale and ready for immediate delivery. Family Leisure's Christmas sale going on now.
Both huge locations, Franklin and Antioch.
Family and fun come together.
Nothing says I love you like the gift of jewelry. A sapphire ring, a diamond necklace, a colored gemstone earring, an anniversary band. And around here, the diamond destination is Genesis Diamonds. With decades of experience, our legendary value combined with worldwide connection, Genesis is here to help make this Christmas the most unforgettable ever. And to make it easy to splurge, our special 0% finance offer has been extended through Christmas Eve. So you can make any holiday purchase and spread your payments over 5 years and enjoy an interest rate of 0% with absolutely nothing down. Our showcases are filled with exquisite diamond rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, bands, as well as a fabulous selection of luxury pre-owned Rolexes, starting as low as $35 a month with nothing down. And if you're planning an engagement this holiday season, this special finance offer includes all of our designer engagement rings and all GIA certified diamonds. Buy now, spread your payments over 5 years with zero interest and nothing down. Say I love you louder than ever this holiday with the gift of diamonds from Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. On approved credit.
Need cash for the holidays or to pay off credit cards right now? Loan Pronto's all-new Express Equity Line of Credit program is just what you need. This is great. You can keep your low mortgage rate and still get cash out. That's right. You don't have to do a full home refi. You can tap a small portion of the equity you have and enjoy a super low rate. With Loan Pronto's Express Equity Credit Line, you can close in 7 to 10 days, and a $50,000 loan will come your way, and it only costs you around $300 a month. Use that money to pay off whatever bills you have, credit cards, consolidate other debt, or start a home improvement project. With Loan Pronto, you can access up to 95% of your home's equity, and 9 out of 10 homeowners won't even need the appraisal. Even if you did a total refi recently or just bought your home, you can tap the equity with this fast, easy program. Do it now before the holidays. Call Loan Pronto, 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780, or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
This holiday season, tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the hottest gifts from TaylorMade and Bushnell. Featuring the TaylorMade Stealth Carbon Woods with 60 layers of carbon for faster ball speeds. And while you're there, grab a dozen TP5 golf balls. And from Bushnell, save up to $75 on the Tour V5 and Tour V5 Shift rangefinders. There's also gift cards for those favorite golfers on your list. Don't miss these holiday gifts and more happening now at Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee.
TSU basketball lives on 102.1 The Ville. Join Coach Brian Petty Collins and the Tigers for every great moment in the OVC. On your home for TSU basketball, 102.1 The Ville and the Ville app.
Hey Nashville, Trey Wingo here. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
When I look at the numbers, I'm very worried. They're 29th in the league in offense. 16th, surprisingly, 16th in the rush, which is just the middle of the pack, and 29th in passing. So how can you be 16th in rushing with Derrick Henry? That number is hard to believe. Now, I know they've got injuries on the offensive line. That can be part of it. But to be just average in the running game, that's not a prescription for success. So they've got to get that going. Fortunately, they're playing the Chargers. So if that running game is going to get healthy, it's going to be this week against the Chargers.
Sure.
Because they can't stop anybody in the run game.
Bill Polian having a good chuckle there on SiriusXM NFL Radio saying, look, if the Titans are going to get right this week of the running game, it is this week against the Chargers. And let me say this. I don't understand it. I do not watch a lot of Charger football, though when I do watch the Chargers, I do like Justin Herbert. I do. I think he's a tough cookie. I think he's got a great arm. I think he looks like a freaking god back there as a quarterback. I just see Dan Marino when I watch him play. When I watch, I will say I literally could drop my pants talking about Herbert and Burrow, and I just love those guys. Burrow reminds me of Elway. Herbert reminds me of Marino, which would make Jalen Hurts, Jim Kelly, and it would make Tua like Ken O'Brien, Todd Blackledge, whatever. So I look at the Chargers, and I think about the players I know they have on defense. And I'm like, okay, I know they've got Derwin James. He's the highest paid safety in the league, and he's basically a linebacker, but he can run. And he hasn't practiced much this week, if at all. Joey Bosa is not going to play this week. And the numbers, as Bill Polian just said right there about the Chargers aren't stopping anybody, the Chargers are 28th in the league against the run. Now, they get run on only 19th most. So normally the way this should work is if you get run on the 28th most, then you should be 28th in yards allowed. Instead, they only get run on 19th most, but they're 28th in yards allowed, which means everybody runs on them. The most telling statistic is that the Chargers allow on defense, the Chargers allow 5.4 yards per carry. That is dead freaking last in the NFL in yards per carry. So Bill Polian is right. If the Titans go into LA and they can't run the ball with Derrick Henry being what they want to do, if they can't run the ball this week, they are never going to run the ball. And yet I'm not convinced that they're necessarily going to run the ball. And you would say, what do you mean, Jared? You just told me that they give up 5.5 yards per carry. You realize that 5.5 yards a carry. Now, this is taking out the idea that Derrick Henry pops a 75-yarder or something. But at 5.5 yards per carry, if Derrick Henry runs the ball 25 times, he's running for 138 yards. So 138 yards, 25 carries for Derrick Henry. Even with Herbert as the quarterback, I'd say Titans have a good chance to win that game. But the Chargers are not stupid, even though their coach sometimes in the heat of the moment acts it. They know the Titans would love nothing more than to go into L.A. on Sunday at SoFi and run the ball, just like they did against the Texans. So what they're going to do is what the GM used to always talk about on this program, which is I can stop the run because I'll bring down one more player into the box than you can block. And I don't know if you've noticed this about the Titans, but they're not very good when it comes to blocking. So Swaim will play some, and I'm sure they'll bring in the extra tackle, whether it's LaRaven Clark or Dylan Radins, who thinks he should be playing over Dennis Daly, I don't know. But they'll try to do that, and the Chargers will bring guys down, and they'll try everything they can in order to keep the Titans from running the football. This is where I have to look at the offensive coaching staff. Running the football is not necessarily, in this game, is not necessarily on Derrick Henry or Ryan Tannehill. It'd be very, very easy to say, okay, Derrick Henry, they give up 5.5 yards a carry. Their rush defense is 28th in the league. You go out there, you give it to me, Derrick. But that's not exactly what has to happen. What has to happen is the offensive coaching staff has to get together and say, all right, no matter what this week, we cannot fall into the same problems that we've fallen into even against teams that aren't great at stopping the run. We cannot bring in a bunch of big bodies and decide we're going to run it on you only to have Derrick Henry gain no yards like we did against Philadelphia and Cincinnati. Coach Bob Shoop talked about it when he broke down the film. When they run out of 3 wide receiver sets, which means that they put smaller people on the field, the opponent's defense has to put smaller people on the field. When they do that, Derrick Henry runs better. So even though Treylon Burks is not going to play on Sunday, you've got to run the ball out of 3 wide receiver sets. And I know your favorite Cody Hollister's not there either. So guess what? That means Racey McMath, you're in. Get in there and give me some playing time. We also know that the Titans don't have any real threat in the passing game. Westbrook Akine struggles at running past people and making contested catches. Chigakonkwo doesn't know what he's doing half of the time. And Robert Woods can't catch. But somebody's going to have to deliver a big play down the field because the Chargers are so bad at stopping the run that they are going to bring everybody up to keep Derrick Henry from beating them. This is where A.J. Brown is missed. Because if the Titans had A.J. Brown, and especially even Treylon Burks, but not to the same level of A.J. Brown, but if the Titans had a number 1 receiver, the Chargers would be looking at it thinking, what do we do? Do we commit to stopping Henry, or do we have to worry about the receiver a little bit? And they would have to worry about the receiver a little bit. The Titans don't have any receivers. And they're not very creative offensively. So that's the matchup on Sunday. And the offensive coaching staff, to me, this is on them. And when Bob Shoop breaks down the tape for us next week and he comes on the show, and if the Titans lose this game and if the Titans aren't effective in running the football in this game, then I am going to tell you right now, I am going to say, is it the fact that they put the jumbo personnel in there and that they couldn't get a hat on a hat trying to block? Or is it because the Chargers' rush defense, which allows 5.5 yards a carry, is just too darn good for the Titans to do anything about it? Because that's what I feel like we're looking at if the Titans can't go run the ball. You heard Bill Polian right there. The Chargers don't stop anybody. They're the worst rush defense, in my opinion, just based on those 2 numbers. 3 if you want to count attempts. 19th in attempts, which means above average, but it doesn't mean a ton. 28th in rushing yards, bad. Dead last in yards per carry. Bill Polian's right. They don't stop anybody running the ball. Nobody. You've got Derrick Henry. You need to run. And if you can't run, it's on your offensive coaches for being too inept. That's it. And that is the only saving grace, the only chance that they would have of winning this game. Between that and the fact that the Chargers have a stooge for a head coach. That's it. Phone lines driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Matt from Clarksville says, does it matter if we make the playoffs just to lose? Let me say this about the NFL. This is how I feel when it comes to a lot of people that say, and I think the Titans are going to lose in the first playoff game. I have no faith in this team, and I shouldn't. They've given you no reason to believe that they can win a playoff game based off the fact that they can't beat any playoff teams, but also because the owner told you last week that she doesn't believe in the team. So there's no reason for you to believe in them, and there's no reason for me to believe in them. And Derek Mason said that he doesn't even think they believe in themselves. But this is the NFL. And this is why nobody last week thought the Titans were going to lose to Jacksonville. And now I've got Rob Ninkovich on TV telling me that the Dallas Cowboys are going to lose to Jacksonville this week. I saw Jacksonville in person on Sunday. Ian, I assume Jacksonville-Dallas is going to be part of Six Pack Picks?
I would think that's probably pretty likely.
Okay, I don't want to spoil it. I'm picking Dallas. I'm not getting too over my skis off of what I saw from Jacksonville. In fact, I am more encouraged to take Dallas. But there's a lot of these games along the way where we look at them and we want to say, okay, that's a win, loss, win, loss, win. You know you can't do that. We didn't know going into the season the Packers were bad. This is why I thought Vrabel's Crossroads comment was so out of line and out of character after the Eagles game. And I said, that's media talk. That's what media people say. You know, are they contenders or pretenders? We'll discuss on Shannon and Skip next. Not, well, we got to get ready for this next game. And the only thing that matters is the next game. The thing that matters is the Ravens or the Bengals. The Ravens have the easier schedule. The Bengals are probably the better team. So whichever team loses that division is probably the team that comes in here in the first round of the playoffs. Can they beat the Bengals? They were right there with them a couple weeks ago. Would I pick the Bengals? Absolutely. Can they beat the Ravens? The Ravens lost to Jacksonville too. Would I pick the Ravens? Absolutely. Nobody thought in 2019. I don't know where texters like this get off on this stuff of like, does it matter if you make the playoffs just to lose? Well, guess what? You ain't going to get the number 1 overall pick. So the other option is to just give it a shot. In 2019, did we have a lot of people that texted in or called in? Ian, help me out here. Did we have a lot of people that texted or called in 2019 and said things like, hey, I don't care if the Titans make the playoffs because there's no way they can go on the road to New England and beat Tom Brady, which is what they did, or beat Lamar Jackson in Baltimore, which is what they did. Did people do that? I don't remember that.
I don't think it was quite that extreme.
Because I feel like we get a lot of that, where they're talking about it like it's hockey and there's 7 games and that the best team always wins. No, that is not this.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you're the Titans and you get in the playoffs and you got a chance to host a playoff game, I mean, one ankle tweak and you never know.
You never know. Like you play the Ravens. Lamar Jackson's been banged up each of the last 2 years at the end. You play Tyler Huntley. Who do you think's going to win? Titans got a shot. You never know. 615-737-1025. We're back to your phones. Plus, Ryan Tannehill, I got to tell you, that ankle injury thing that everybody got pissed off at me for saying, like, I don't know, he was cleared to practice, but he couldn't play. And then, Steve McNair would have played and all those things. Ryan Tannehill is now using his injury to cover up something else. We'll get to that coming up. I don't know anybody who gets excited about moving because moving stinks, but I've got great movers. That's right. TriStar Moving. They are my go-to. Everybody asks me, who's that moving company? I'm like, TriStar Moving. You're going to move with TriStar. You're going to love moving with TriStar. Trust me. TriStar Moving. I always tell people, whenever the moving process comes for you, just say, hey, I'd like a bid from TriStar Moving. That's all I ask, because once you get a bid from TriStar, you will see how it compares to other movers, and you will see the quality of service that you get from their sales staff and their highly trained movers, and you will absolutely pick TriStar. So I'm not even telling you to pick TriStar. I'm just saying get a bid. They're my movers. I moved with them over 2 years ago. It was fantastic, and I love TriStar Moving. So if you're looking to move, give them a call. TriStar Moving, 615-640-1219. Or visit their website at nashvillemoving.org/radio, and they'll give you 10% off your entire move. That's TriStar Moving, 615-640-1219. Or visit them at nashvillemoving.org/radio. Tell them Jared Stillman sent you for 10% off your entire move, which is a lot of money on a move. That's TriStar Moving, my official movers.
Bull season is here.
Keeps his feet out of a tackle, and it's a race now.
Catch all the action right here at 102.5, 106.3 The Game, and 94.9 The Fan.
Down the middle, right on the money, touchdown.
All the big moments of bowl season are presented by Boombuzz Craft Pizza and Tap House. Pizza, beer, sports. Headquartered in East Nashville.
My goodness, look out.
Bowl season is on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and The Game Nashville app.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
Looking for another cold night ahead as temperatures drop back to the low 30s for both Saturday and Sunday. Looking pretty good. Chilly with highs in the low 40s, but both days looking sunny. For Fox 17, I'm Chief Meteorologist Katie Morgan.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Time for the Preds Report.
Presented by Newton Nissan.
Max Hers in for Pete Weber with your Friday morning Preds report. Preds started a 2-game road trip last night in Winnipeg against the Jets and scored first with a very nice goal by their top line. Into the O-zone, Duchesne to the middle to Granlund, one-timer, Forsberg scores! Philip Forsberg made it 1-0 Preds, a little over 9 minutes into the first period, but the Jets tied the game before the end of the first, and we got all the way to overtime with a 1-1 tie score. Jets won the game in OT on a goal by Kyle Connor, who took 11 shots on goal for the Jets in the game. Preds lose their 5th straight game, but do pick up a standings point. The road trip continues and concludes tomorrow night in Denver with an 8 o'clock Nashville time puck drop against the Colorado Avalanche. This is Max Hers reporting.
All the best car deals in Smashville start at Newton Nissan. Visit them at Newton Nissan of Gallatin or Newton Nissan South in Shelbyville.
This is Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game.
Hey, Robbie Stanley here, and you can give the gift of Preds hockey this holiday season with the Smashville Stocking Stuffer presented by 47 Brand and Local IQ. This includes 2 hockey tickets, a Preds 47 Brand hat, and a $20 food voucher, all starting at just $79. Visit NashvillePredators.com/stocking for more info, or check out the 5-game pick plan presented by Hattie B's. Pick any 5 games and select your seats, plus receive a Preds car flag and a $10 gift card to Hattie B's. Visit NashvillePredators.com/tickets for details.
Joe Rexrode here for OrderGreen.com. Listen, to do the job I do, got to stay on the move at all times. Lots of travel, early mornings. Sometimes it can catch up with you, and when it does, I always enjoy natural and enjoyable ways to de-stress my mind and body. That's why I use a high-quality, wide selection of THC and CBD products from OrderGreen.com. It's not just me. Lots of my friends are on the bandwagon here, including a sick family friend of ours who has gotten great benefits. OrderGreen.com. You subscribe, you save 25% off shipments of gummies, or use promo code Joe20 for 20% off your first purchase. OrderGreen.com.
Chase McCabe.
The best way to figure that out is to watch Twitter.
Willie Donick.
Trying to move down the field for the winning field goal.
And Derek Mason.
I'm putting in my hours, and I'm out of here.
Chase, Willie, and D-Mace. Weekdays from 10 to 2 on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and the Game Nashville app. You're listening to Stillman and Company.
Presented by TriStar Moving.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
I do think you're looking at a quarterback who's lost a little bit of confidence in his offensive line, in maybe the system. And where I noticed it is his mechanics with his footwork are the same regardless of the depth of the routes. That's why he can hit Hooper, he can hit Quanquo on those short little quick ones. But when the routes go beyond 10 yards, 12 yards, 15 yards, his mechanics are exactly the same. And the reason I feel qualified a little bit to say this is when I was at Penn State, I watched Christian Hackenberg go through the exact same thing. He had lost a little bit of confidence in the offensive line, and somehow, some way, his mechanics suffered.
Bob Shoop on the program saying Tannehill's footwork is not right. And if he's throwing a deep pass, it needs to be different than if he's throwing a short pass, which is why he can throw the short passes and he can't throw the deep passes. That is concerning. And he said it's a lack of confidence in the offensive line, just like Christian Hackenberg. Tannehill was asked about his mechanics and his footwork. Corey Curtis did it. And listen to where Tannehill takes it.
How do you keep your fundamentals together when you're hurting and you're under constant duress like you've been the last few weeks?
Oh, it's tougher, right? It's tougher, just the nature of the injuries and what you're allowed to, or not allowed, but what you're able to do, in practice, in games. It's definitely tougher, but hopefully as it continues to heal and get better, can keep working on those things.
Have you been happy with that, with yourself, your ability to keep that together?
Yeah, doing the best I can. I think it's a balancing act there of trying to do as much as you can and work the things as much as you can. But when you're banged up, your body's only able to do so much. So I think, that's not just myself, that's everybody on this team, right? We're all dealing with something to some degree, anybody who's played for us, So being able to work, everyone's on a different plan, everyone has different things they're trying to work on or are able to work on. Just being able to do that on a daily basis and ultimately carry it over to the games.
So Bob is telling us that his fundamentals and his footwork, his mechanics are all out of whack because he doesn't trust the offensive line. And he's telling Corey Curtis, it's hard when you're hurt. And then he's saying, I'm doing the best I can, and injury. And I got to say this about Tannehill. He has really used that ankle as a crutch. He got hurt, and the first week that he was hurt, it was, hey, I don't want to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it. We're focused on Houston. Then he doesn't play the Kansas City game. Then he's like, I don't want to talk about it. Then every game after that, he's talked about it. Yeah, it hurt when I went and ran on that one against Denver. And yeah, it still hurts right now. And yeah, I can't get my footwork right. And that's not what Coach Shoop said it was. And I saw Mike White, the quarterback of the Jets. He's out this week. Zach Wilson's going to start. And I saw somebody said that Mike White tried to get every single team doctor the Jets had to clear him with broken ribs this week so he could play. Why? Because he doesn't want to lose his grip on that job. Aaron Rodgers played with a broken thumb. Ryan Tannehill misses the Kansas City game, which they would have won if he had played And I'm the bad guy because I said, well, Steve McNair would have played. And now it feels pretty obvious to me that Mike White would have played. Aaron Rodgers would have played. If you're the quarterback and you can play, you play. If you're the quarterback and you're hurt, you don't talk about it. You don't sit there and blame your bad mechanics on your injury when everybody else is saying it's not. Coach Shoop says that it's the fact that he's not confident in the offensive line. Listen to D. Mace talk about what he's noticed from Ryan Tannehill's body language lately as the team has not played as well.
After a while, when Ryan Tannehill would get hit, you can just see the frustration on his face. Like he would just lay on the ground for a minute and then get up. That's something that prior to, this losing streak, you didn't see that from Ryan Tannehill. Regardless if he was hurt or not, he was the one guy that bounced right back up. No matter what was going on with him, he managed to bounce right back up. Even when he had the ankle injury, he tried to get back up and go because he understands that I am the quarterback, the leader. If they see me laying on the ground, they think they've won or my team think it's over. So I'm going to get my tail up. If I'm hurt, I'm going to get up and I'm going to go. I'm going to do something else. And you didn't see that versus Jacksonville or Cincinnati when he would get hit. He was just lay there like, man, no matter what I do as a quarterback, I still find myself most times on the ground picking myself up.
It's not the ankle injury. It's the frustration with the line that is holding Tannehill's mechanics. It is not the ankle injury that is keeping Ryan Tannehill on the ground when he takes a hit. It is the frustration with the offensive line. And I'm going to tell you the difference. When things are going well or the focus is on that moment and not, oh, God, here we go again. When that happens, Tannehill gets hit, his thought is, all right, let's go, next play, next play, next play. When Tannehill gets hit now with this line, he lays on the ground and thinks, screw this. That's the difference. And Derek's telling you that, and Bob Shoop's telling you that, and Tannehill's saying, I can't do it. I'm still a little banged up from that ankle injury I suffered 8 weeks ago. Got it. Frank Reich was still the coach. John Robinson was still the GM when Ryan Tannehill banged up that ankle. He should be fine by now. Kevin texts into the text line and says, don't compare Corey Davis and Jonnu to what they're doing now. Corey Davis, AJ, and Jonnu in Tennessee would have been a force for a long time. I am saying this. Jonnu Smith, bad offensive coaching in New England, with Matt Patricia being the one who's calling the plays. Bad coaching. Jonnu Smith has as many catches this season as Dontrell Hilliard. And Jonnu Smith is a $50 million tight end. Corey Davis makes double the money that Austin Hooper makes, and Austin Hooper has more catches. Those guys were not transcendent players to the Titans offense. They had a genius offensive coach. When I watch Brock Purdy, the last pick in the NFL draft, do what he's done the last 2 games for San Francisco, that is what a genius offensive coach can do. Jonnu Smith and Corey Davis are rich men because of the genius offensive coordinator that they got to play for in Arthur Smith. And this offense and the players on it have all taken a step back without having a genius. Texter texts in and says, do you think that Derrick Henry has been cost the Hall of Fame? I think Derrick Henry's going to make the Hall of Fame. I hear Mad Dog talk about it all the time. Every time he talks about the Titans, he says, Henry's a Hall of Famer. And so I think there must be something to that. So I think he's going to end up making it. 615-737-1025. Chad Withrow, Outkick 360. I've been very down on the Titans. Is it wrong that I've been this down? Especially going to this game against the Chargers on Sunday where they're 32nd in the league and averaging 5.4 yards per carry. Chad Withrow will join us from Outkick 360. Fireball Hot Take Friday. Fireball whiskey. You all know that I absolutely love Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey. Goes down so smooth and it tastes so great. There is no better way to ignite the night and continue doing it than with ice cold Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey. That's right. I love Fireball whiskey, and I know you will too. You've got your holiday parties that are either coming up or are right about to happen. In fact, I've got a party on Christmas Eve I'm going to, and I know the Fireball will be aplenty. That's Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey. Ignite the night. Please do it responsibly and be 21 years or older to enjoy. That's Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey.
You watch the game. We talk the game.
The college football playoff rankings, Tennessee, the number 1 team in the country.
We are the game. Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Hey y'all, it's Courtney with Parman Tractor and Equipment. We're your one-stop tractor and equipment solution and Middle Tennessee's Link Belt and Takahouchi dealer. As 2022 comes to a close, we want to thank our many customers. You can rent or purchase excavators, mini excavators, track loaders, and more through Parman. Gift yourself or business a new or used Link Belt or Takahouchi machine. Visit ParmanTractor.com or come see us at 3570 Dickerson Pike, Nashville, your Middle Tennessee Link Belt and Takahouchi dealer. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from the Parman employee-owned family to yours.
Looking for a career with purpose or have that passion for youth development? Boys and Girls Clubs of Middle Tennessee provides a safe place where youth gain the tools to learn, lead, and reach their full potential. And that starts with you, offering competitive pay and free after-school care for employees. Learn more at bgcmt.org.
PatriotSoftware.com. Accounting and payroll. Keep your time and money. Easy to learn, easy to use. Small business software tailored just for you. With PatriotSoftware.com. Accounting and payroll. Keep your time and money.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-494-6139. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-494-6139.
Live from the Game Nashville studios. WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne. Broadcasting on Alexa.
I appreciate that.
And other smart speakers. 102.5 and 106.3.
1, 2, 3. I think it was a good game. You had a couple of big plays.
The Game.
A Cromwell media station.
Where you have a voice.
We're one play away from an injury.
He knows this. He's a study of the game.
And we have strong opinions.
He's been awful. I don't think they were trying, and that's why I feel the way I feel.
This is Stillman and Company with Jared Stillman and Caroline Fenton. Presented by TriStar Moving on Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Going to Companies delivered by TriStar Moving, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook Live. Thanks to the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry. Fireball Hot Take Friday. Caroline out. She did the midday show earlier today. Chad Withrow, Outkick 360 is with us, presented by Two Rivers Ford. They've got a great inventory right now of new and used vehicles with our friends at Two Rivers Ford. And, of course, by A Moment's Peace. Be sure to be the hero this Christmas with a momentspeace.com/Christmas. Okay, Chad, I have no faith in the Titans whatsoever, either this week against the Chargers or going into the playoffs or whatever you want to call it. I think the owner absolutely nuked the season. I think the players have lost faith in themselves. Derek Mason even thinks the players have lost faith in themselves. Are you as down on the Titans as I am?
Let me ask you this question, Jared. Was there ever a time that you were confident they could do anything in the playoffs this season? And if so, what point of the season were you confident? I'll give you one example. After the Packers game, those few hours before Todd Downing got his DUI, I was very optimistic that maybe the Titans were starting to figure something out and could win a playoff game or do something. And then it all fell apart there.
So
but
I thought
I thought
the Kansas City game.
I've never been confident in this team from start to finish. That was the one sign of hope that they might do something in the playoffs. But I really think that's it.
The Kansas City game, they go on the road. The defense really – I know Mahomes threw for 8,000 yards, but that's because the Titans were 3 and out every time. The defense holds Kansas City to 20 points on the road on Sunday Night Football. The only reason they lose is because they have no hint of a passing game. I thought that was – and I'm not like a big moral victory guy, but with that at quarterback I am. This Kansas City game, the Green Bay game, I was like, this team is legit. I mean, they lost to the Bengals by 4 points. It's not like they lost to the Bengals by 40 points. But the feeling is now that they lost to the Bengals by 40 points because of everything that's transpired since then.
Yeah, I think that stretch that you just hit on was the one moment of, okay, maybe it's going to be okay, and they can go win a playoff game. It's Kansas City, and then coupled with the Green Bay performance in pretty short order, and then even the Cincinnati game. You're right; they weren't terrible in that game. It was a bad ending to it. But Cincinnati's playing great ball right now. Mm-hmm. Look, I'm on the same page with you, Jared, that it was a very odd decision to fire the GM midseason when there's really no big advantage to it. It's not like you're getting into the GM hiring carousel quicker than everyone else, and that's going to put you at some sort of an advantage. They could have easily waited to see how the season played out and just done it at the end of the year. I mean, if Amy Adams-Strunk knew the week before the Eagles game that she wanted to fire him, and didn't fire him the moment that it entered her mind that she wanted to, and waited till after the Eagles game, what's another month, right? I mean, you could still just say, well, I made up my mind back then, but I waited a month to see what happened and then fired him at the end of the year. It was an odd decision. It's finger-pointing for an organization that doesn't usually finger-point, and they're blaming it all on John Robinson. And we talked about it, Jared. It's also just a blatant statement of, hey, you guys aren't good enough. The personnel that we have here right now is lacking, and it's not Super Bowl caliber, so we have to fire the GM right now to move forward because you guys are not getting it done. And it looks like the team took that cue on Sunday. You just can't chalk it up to coincidence that they fire the GM on a Tuesday, and then on the following Sunday, the Titans play quite possibly their worst game, if not definitely their worst half, under Mike Vrabel since he's been the head coach. That's not a good trend. Couple that with now that's the third of 3 straight losses, about to be 4 against the Chargers. They are not headed in the right direction.
You know what bothers me too, Chad Withrow's with us, Outkick 360, is that, I mean, I know every time there's a question about offensive play calling or it's always, there's some defense. You know, Todd Downing yesterday was asked about the fact that of the 13 games they've played, 10 of those games in the second half, they've had a 3-and-out to start. And he talked about how the team is finding new ways to find themselves behind the sticks. And he brought up the Jeff Swaim crackback block, which I thought was a point to, I didn't crackback block anybody. And he talked about, last year that was a strength of ours, which I took as when I had A.J. Brown, we weren't this. I mean, I watched Brock Purdy last night, Chad, and I'm like, that is what an offensive genius coach is able to do, is he's able to have the infrastructure to teach somebody how to do something their way and then go out there and have Brock Purdy do it. And that's what it was like when Arthur Smith was the coordinator and Jonnu Smith, who's got as many catches this season as Dontrell Hilliard does, Jonnu Smith made himself a $50 million man. It's the genius coaching. And I know a lot of people blame Todd Downing. I don't feel any sense that Mike Vrabel is holding Todd Downing accountable at all for how bad this offense is. Your thoughts?
Yeah, if you thought Mike Vrabel was stubborn before, get ready, because now he's got even more power. He's not going to suddenly stop being stubborn because John Robinson isn't there, and he's going to get to basically hire his own GM that's going to do his bidding and exactly what he wants. So if you believe that he's stubborn on Todd Downing or on any other coach on that staff, it's only going to get worse. It's almost like Jimbo Fisher. Jimbo Fisher is stubborn, old-school coach. He needs to hire a really good offensive coordinator and hand over play-calling duties to that offensive coordinator. Is he going to do that? Well, it's going to be decided by Jimbo Fisher and him alone because he has all the power with his contract. There's not a single person at A&M that's going to tell him what to do. And I really believe now, I mean, look, we've seen Amy Adams-Strunk. She's not afraid to make a move, but as long as Mike Vrabel's there with this in-season move with John Robinson, it is Amy Adams-Strunk, who does like to stay, for the most part, away from the football operation side of it and leave it up to football people. Mike Vrabel is her football person now. So if something's going to happen with Todd Downing, it's not going to happen because Amy Adams-Strunk comes into a postseason meeting and says, hey, Mike, by the way, that offensive coordinator that got the DUI after the Packers game, you need to fire him because he sucks. That's not going to happen. Mike Vrabel's going to do whatever he wants. Now, maybe he sees this season and sees it the way all the Titans fans do and say, hey, offensive coordinator's not getting it done. Probably need to think about going in a different direction. Hey, maybe go hire my buddy Bill O'Brien, who I've worked with before, who wants to get back in the NFL from Alabama. Go hire someone else. Maybe he decides to do that on his own, but it's the only way it's going to happen is on his own. He's not taking any hints. He's not going to be nudged by anyone else. It's going to be a Mike Vrabel decision and his alone. So if you believe him to be stubborn about Todd Downing or anyone else, I don't think that's suddenly going to go away. Now, it could just get so bad where it's obvious, and Mike Vrabel is a smart guy, and he's smart enough to know I can't win. It's going to be me next if I continue to employ someone who's really bad at being a coordinator, because that may be where this thing is headed.
Do you think, Chad Withrow's with us, do you think that the Titans are really that bad of a football team?
Yes. Right now, this Titans team that just lost to the Jags is an incredibly bad football team. Now, that's also in large part because of injury, and we had a graph on our show showing their injuries compared to the rest of the league. It's bad. It's really bad the last 2 years. I mean, you can't not point out that the injury situation is terrible with this team, and it is. But it was never a team. I always thought they were good, not anywhere close to great for most of the season. But the team they're trotting out there right now without Danico Autry, with injuries in the secondary, with some of the guys that are playing in the secondary, I mean, go down with Jeffrey Simmons on one leg in these games. They're clearly affected by the injury. It's not a very good team right now. It's really not a playoff caliber team, even though they're probably going to go to the playoffs because I'm predicting them to win one game, Houston at home, and that's it. And then they're going to lose in the playoffs, and they're going to go 8-9 with that record and lose their first game. They're not really a playoff caliber team. If they get everyone that they can back healthy, it's going to help, but it's still not a very good team.
Isn't that the thing, though, that makes Vrabel such a great coach is that Vrabel finds a way? You know, I don't think Vrabel's like the best schemer in the league, but he always just – even that crap team he had in 2018 with Mariota as his quarterback that went, 9-7 and lost the last game because Mariota didn't play. I mean, that team just found a way. All the good ones that aren't even that good find a way. And I just don't see why Vrabel can't find a way now.
Well, I mean, you can – finding a way when A.J. Brown's on your roster – and you got some other injuries at other spots, or finding a way against really good teams. This was the Mike Vrabel of the last few years, right? The games that you were expecting the Titans to roll. The Texans game at home in that rainstorm, that terrible weather day I think about. That was a game that I was shocked the Titans lost to Tyrod Taylor, who had a good day, and the Texans. A terrible Texans team. And then they'd go out and win a game. You're absolutely not expecting them to win, the Chiefs game, as an example. He would do that in terms of finding a way. How is he not finding a way with this team? What's the definition of that? Because they've yet to beat a good team. So they're beating bad teams. They're a very average to bad team. So they've found a way to beat pretty bad teams across the league, and they can't beat good teams. So that's going to be consistent. And with the remainder of their schedule, I mean, look, Jacksonville may not have anything to play for at the end of the year, and they could win that game. And Jacksonville's not very good. So maybe they get 2 more wins. Houston and Jacksonville, okay, so what? So they beat bad teams throughout the year, and then they lost to the good teams. It's tough to continue to put on Vrabel this whole disguise of, well, just go and find a way. Just go out and find a way. At some point, you got to have the talent that's commensurate with winning in this league. And the Titans traded away. I hate to keep harping on this, but they traded away maybe their most talented guy, separate of Derrick Henry, certainly the most talented player on offense. And they don't have that guy now, and they've got a cast of characters that just aren't that good. You got a quarterback who's banged up. You've got an injured defense. And that's the most troubling trend to me is what's happening on defense. That's where I give Mike Vrabel kind of the Kyle Shanahan label. Shanahan finds a way to get it done on offense with whoever's out there. Vrabel was finding a way to get it done on defense with whoever John Robinson or anyone else gave him off the scrap heap. And now that's gone away. They've completely lost their defensive identity.
I do wonder how much of that's Autry. I mean, I think Autry has made himself a lot of money by being hurt, if that makes any sense. Because when
I think it's a great point. Look, a lot of it is Autry, but my point is Mike Vrabel could, in years past, replace Autry and still get good production and not have a huge drop-off. That magic act has now started to run out this year too, and it's a season that's headed in a tailspin.
Chad Withrow's with us, Outkick 360, presented by Two Rivers Ford and A Moment's Peace. The Chargers are shockingly only 3-point favorites. I want Chad's thoughts on them with that crazy stat that they allow 5.5 yards per carry. And I've got what I have decided. It's not his fault, but it's a problem. I want to get to that as well. And the one player on the Titans that I would call into the office today and cut him for what he did on social media. We'll get to that with Chad. But first, Chad wants to tell you about Two Rivers Ford.
That's right, Two Rivers Ford. In-stock inventory is back at Two Rivers Ford. Truckloads of vehicles they've been waiting for all year have finally made it onto the lot. F-150s, Explorers, Edges, Escapes. Two Rivers Ford has them all in every color, every trim level, with every available option. And don't forget, Two Rivers Ford sells all non-specialty new Fords below MSRP, so you're always going to get a great price. And when it comes to financing, Two Rivers is offering great rates this month, starting at just 2.9%. Always like to mention that when you do business with Two Rivers Ford, you're doing business with a local dealer that's been around since 1983 with an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau. They're great people, and you'll be in great hands when you deal with them. Go online to tworiversford.com. Give them a call, 1-800-900-1000, or go see their non-commissioned sales team in Mount Juliet. But whatever you do, do it fast before the in-stock inventory is gone. Two Rivers Ford, powered by Ford, driven by people.
Every Wednesday at 8:45. Join Robbie and Rexroad for The Choice is Yours.
2 sports questions, 2 non-sports questions.
They'll answer a couple of questions about life and sports. The Choice is Yours is built by Jarrett Companies. You have a choice. So when you have a need for site and utility work, fire protection, concrete and asphalt services, the choice is simple. It's Jarrett Companies. For more, visit JarrettCompaniesInc.com. The Choice is Yours. Wednesdays at 8:45 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Need cash for the holidays or to pay off credit cards right now? Loan Pronto's all-new Express Equity Line of Credit program is just what you need. This is great. You can keep your low mortgage rate and still get cash out. That's right. You don't have to do a full home refi. You can tap a small portion of the equity you have and enjoy a super low rate. With Loan Pronto's Express Equity Credit Line, you can close in 7 to 10 days, and a $50,000 loan will come your way, and it only costs you around $300 a month. Use that money to pay off whatever bills you have, credit cards, consolidate other debt, or start a home improvement project. With Loan Pronto, you can access up to 95% of your home's equity, and 9 out of 10 homeowners won't even need the appraisal. Even if you did a total refi recently or just bought your home, you can tap the equity with this fast, easy program. Do it now before the holidays. Call Loan Pronto, 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780, or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Achieve hero status this year. The woman in your life will love this unique and thoughtful gift. Always in style, always fits, always appreciated. Choose your budget, and whether you spend a little or go lavish, she can choose from 10 different services, all under one roof at a Moment's Peace Salon and Day Spa. Gift cards can be printed directly from the website, or they can be beautifully wrapped for a stunning presentation and even paired with other gifts like robes, candles, and all sorts of fun finds from the Gift Boutique. Learn more about this at amomentspeace.com/Christmas.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
This message is for the guy who isn't perfect in the bedroom. And let's be honest, who is? Maybe the issue is getting it up or keeping it up, or maybe it's finishing too soon. If any of these performance hiccups sound familiar to you, don't sweat it. Hims can help. At 4hims.com, you can go online and get clinically proven prescription medication that treats these issues, prescribed for you, if appropriate, by licensed medical providers. And the medication is shipped free to your door in discreet packaging. Plus, Hims gives you unlimited follow-up visits with medical providers. No one's perfect in the bedroom every time, but with Hims, you can get a lot closer than before. And chances are, your partner will agree.
To get started today, go to 4hims.com/perfect. That's 4hims.com/per your free visit. FORHIMS.com/PERFECT.
Never miss a moment of the show.
What is this? Check it out.
Subscribe to the Stillman and Company podcast on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts. You're listening to Stillman and Company.
Sounds like this has been a game-changing day for all of us.
Presented by TriStar Moving on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company Fireball Hot Take Friday. Hey, be sure to tune into the post-game show on 102.5, 106.3 The Game. On Sunday, Jonathan Hutton and Chad Withrow will be live from the Superbook Lounge and Landshark Bar and Grill in Margaritaville on Broadway. The post-game show brought to you by Renter's Warehouse, Two Rivers Ford, now with a huge inventory of in-stock vehicles to choose from. And Superbook Sports, voted the #1 sportsbook in Vegas. Download their app today. Chad Withrow is with us, presented by Two Rivers Ford and by A Moment's Peace. Be a hero this year at amomentspeace.com/Christmas. Chad, the Chargers are really average. They've got a quarterback that I freaking love in Justin Herbert, but they are 28th in the league in rush yards allowed, and they allow 5.4 yards a carry. That is dead last. The Titans running game showed some signs of life on Sunday against Jacksonville. They're going to need to run the ball. We know that without Treylon Burks on Sunday against the Chargers. What is your feel for this Charger team? Because the players that are on it always make me think they should be better. Your thoughts?
Yeah, they're certainly underachieving. You're right. And Herbert's great, but it's a team that it's time for them to step up and do something and get to the playoffs this year. Big step with the win over Miami last week, so they're headed in the right direction coming into this game. That's a wild stat with the 5.4 yards per carry they give up, because it's rare to see an NFL team. Most NFL teams are pretty good at just stopping the run. That's kind of the prereq for an NFL defense. They can at least do that to some extent. Chargers haven't done any of that this year. That bodes well for Derrick Henry. The problem is the Titans' offensive line still is not any good. Dylan Radins, hopefully, is going to be an upgrade on this offensive line compared to what they've had. But, boy, if you're hoping for Dylan Radins to be some sort of savior for this offense in the run game and protection, then that's a problem going into this game. But on the Chargers' end, I think they're a pretty disappointing team overall. But now they've got a great shot to sneak into the end of the tournament and get in and give themselves a chance to do something once they get to the postseason. And they got a quarterback who is definitely good enough to win some games once they get to that postseason.
Okay, so you brought up Dylan Radins. If I owned the team, or not own the team, if I was the coach, and I guess the coach is the GM now, I would have called him into the office today and I'd have cut his ass. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I didn't even know this. There's an article out there. He was liking a bunch of tweets that basically said he should be playing over Dennis Daly. And the idea of all the things the Titans have had to deal with, including the general manager being fired last week, and now I may have to deal with this controversy. You know as well as I do that if I know that Dennis Daly is liking that Dylan Radins is liking tweets that Dennis Daly stinks, that Dennis Daly knows that Dylan Radins is liking tweets that Dennis Daly stinks, the last thing I need is a fractured offensive line room or a fight in my offensive line room between Dennis Daly and Dylan Radins. I would cut his ass for that. Instead, people want Radens out there to start. I'm like, he's been given every opportunity to start, and they will not give it to him. They lost the competition last year at tackle. He lost the competition this year at tackle. They're not going to play him over Aaron Brewer. Chad, get him out of here.
So you would prefer Dennis Daly then to start?
They prefer Dennis Daly to Dylan Radens.
Well, again, I'm starting to question their judgment. We've already questioned Todd Downing's judgment. If Dennis Daly's the best they can do, then that's a real problem. I'm with you. Radens is a complete disappointment so far as a second-round draft pick. Now, I didn't know any of the stuff about him liking the tweets that are negative about Dennis Daly. That is a terrible look. I will say this. I'm at least a little bit enthused that Dylan Radens wants to play and that he at least has a bit of an attitude about him that I'm better than this guy and I need to be in there. I didn't know that he had that level of fight in him because he doesn't strike me as a guy that's got a lot of fight in him, quite frankly. So that part of it's okay. I'm with you, though. You got to have a talk with him and say, we're not going to do that. You don't want to add division where there doesn't need to be division. You're already going to get the opportunity. I'm with you. I don't know that you cut him, but I think you have a conversation with him. I'm honestly shocked, though, that he even did that and that he wants to play this badly. Because as of right now, what Dylan Radens should be doing is, sending a text to John Robinson and thanking him for drafting him in the second round for the money he got there because he's not worthy of that second-round pick.
No, in fact, Joe and I got in this big argument before the season, and I said that the only reason Radens made the team, because he was so bad in training camp, and he was so bad in the preseason games, the only reason he made the team is because the team did not want to admit that they whiffed on him in the second round. And Joe said that that's ridiculous. They're not going to waste a roster spot to save face. They would never do that. And then TD has said that part of one of the big bones of contention with Amy Adams Strunk was that Robinson had basically promised them that Farley and Radens were going to turn the corners this year, and obviously we know that they have not. And so I'm convinced he's only on the team. I mean, if the coaching staff will not play him over Nicholas Petit-Ferrer, who's not very good, and they won't play him over Dennis Daly, who's not very good, and they won't play him over Aaron Brewer, who's not very good, and they didn't play him last year over David Quessenberry when he wasn't very good, and if Taylor Lewan gets hurt in the second game and Daly, who's been in there for a week, gets in there, he stinks. The coaching staff hates him. So I say just get rid of him, especially if he's going to be liking tweets about another guy. You can't have that on a football team. Gets me all worked up. Chad Withers still there with us? Maybe
hey,
not.
Jared, can you hear me?
Gotcha. Let's get all worked up on Radens there. I do have a thought, though. Another worked up thing, Chad, which is I'm not mad at Treylon Burks for getting concussed. That's not his fault. But I do always have this saying that you have to trust your stars on the field. You have to trust them off the field. Don't get any DUIs, no domestic incidences, none of that stuff, no gun charges. And you have to trust them to be able to stay on the field. And Treylon Burks didn't turf toe himself. He didn't have an asthma problem to himself, and he didn't concuss himself. But he's out this week for the Charger game. How worried should we be about this injury history that surrounds Treylon Burks?
Very worried. Injuries with the Titans. I mean, if it's a hangnail, and they have a history of that, I'd be worried about it with their recent history with drafting guys with injury history, and then all the injuries on the team the past couple of years. Going back to what you said, though, in your argument with Joe Rexrode about that, I absolutely believe that John Robinson or any GM would hold on to someone to save face if they think it impacts their job. Also, if they're being stubborn against the coaching staff thinking that the player is actually better than what the coaching staff is giving them credit for, then they're going to hold on to him. If they believe that there aren't a lot of much better options out there to go with anyways, I think they would default to stick with their guy they picked in the second round and keep them around even if they know they're probably not going to play.
Can I tell you one of the more surprising problems that I have with the Titans right now? Chad Withers with us, Outkick 360. Robert Woods sucks. Like, he drops a pass every game. He dropped 3 passes last week. I thought Robert Woods was going to come in here, and he wasn't going to be a Blazer. He wasn't going to run past people, but he was going to run precise routes, and he was going to catch the ball. And he has not done that this year. What happened to Robert Woods?
Yeah, it's been a bad fit. I don't get it. I like the move when it happened. I've always liked Robert Woods' game, but no, you're right. He's not worked out, and it's really indicative of a lot of the problems they've had with receivers, whether it be free agent, drafting them outside of A.J. Brown. It just always seems to not work with the Titans and receivers. And I know the injury history with him too. He's just not been dynamic. I think he's kind of a good, number 3 option maybe for someone. He's not even a number 2 receiver when I watch him right now, and it's been bad. I mean, you're spot on. He is not good right now.
Drives me crazy. What chances do you give the Titans? It's a 3-point spread on Sunday. I'll make my pick at the end, but what kind of chances do you give the Titans, Chad?
I think the Titans need to inspire hope and confidence, and I'm not talking about with the fans. I think they need to inspire some hope and confidence with their own roster, with a performance, because they're losing their grip on that as the weeks go by and they continue to look like this. I think this is going to end up being a close game. I think the Chargers win, but no, it would not completely shock me if Derrick Henry goes off. They can run the ball. They keep Justin Herbert on the field, keep him off the field, and find a way to win this game. I'll be mildly surprised if they win, but I'm not going to be shocked.
Chad Withrow, Outkick 360, presented by Two Rivers Ford and A Moment's Peace. Chad, great stuff. Enjoy the weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Yep, have a great weekend. Thanks, guys.
Yep, Chad Withrow, Outkick 360. And again, the postgame show coming up after the Titans and the Chargers on Sunday with him and Jonathan Hutton. We'll get to your phones next. 615-737-1025. I see them lined up. One more glorious segment this week of your phone calls. And by the way, Joe Rexroad has fired off a retort. We'll get to that coming up. 615-737-1025. FanDuel Sportsbook is my official sportsbook app. One of the things about the NFL you can love is you can always find player or game props that you like. What's cool about FanDuel Sports is you can combine these props with bets from the same game to score an even bigger payout, which is perfect for Sunday. Justin Herbert, over passing yards. No Danico Autry. The Titans defense turns into the 2020 defense. Herbert over. Derrick Henry, again, 5.4 yards a crack against the Chargers, over rushing yards as well. Same game parlay is just one of the reasons for FanDuel. It's easy to use, easy to register, easy to deposit, easy to find your bet. They've got live betting so you can place your bet fast during a game if you see a trend you like, and fast withdrawals. When you win, FanDuel pays you your winnings quickly. There's no feeling like nailing a same-game parlay, so lock in your bet today on FanDuel Sportsbook. If you're new to FanDuel, sign up with the promo code JGM for your no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's promo code JGM. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 and older, present in Tennessee. First online real money wager, only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issues, non-withdrawable free bets that expire 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889-9789.
Tannehill lost the football. Tannehill intercepted. Ball came out late, and the Jaguars recover.
After losing their third straight, the Titans now turn their focus to the Chargers.
I mean, the offense is what it is. We've talked about it. It's not good enough.
Can Mike Vrabel and company right the ship?
Has this team not been holding each other accountable? A team that preaches accountability?
Maybe Mike Vrabel has reached his ceiling. Keep it locked to Nashville's best Titans talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Family Leisure would like to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas from our family to yours
throughout this holiday season.
And to celebrate this joyous season, Family Leisure is having a Christmas sale up to 50% off everything in the store.
Wow, that'll really help out.
Arcade games, game tables, pool tables, even shuffleboard tables are on sale. Foosball and air hockey tables as low as $1.99 as well.
A pool table and game table from Family are a great gift for the family.
Family Leisure has spas in stock and on sale and ready for immediate delivery.
Wow, that sounds like a great gift to us.
Family Leisure has up to 50% off on infrared saunas, ready for immediate delivery as well.
But what about something for the kids?
Family Leisure has deluxe outdoor play gyms on sale and starting at just $26.99 installed. Vuli trampolines start at $22.99.
That all sounds great.
That's Family Leisure's Christmas sale going on now.
At both huge locations, Franklin and Antioch.
Family and fun come together.
Response to Genesis Diamond's remarkable free financing offer has been so incredible that we're extending it through Christmas Eve. Last last-minute shoppers. We've got you covered with 5 years zero-interest financing on any purchase with $0 down. So you can splurge on that handcrafted diamond ring and spread it over 60 whole months. Studs, bracelets, necklaces, bands, every color and every shape, starting at only $35 a month with $0 down. You can use this amazing offer on anything. Designer engagement rings, classics like diamond pendants and bracelets. All our hand-selected GIA-certified diamonds are included, and so are our luxury pre-owned Rolexes. At Genesis, we've got our best collection ever, with case after case of stunning gifts that are romantic and timeless. And with Genesis guaranteed best value price and 5 years zero-interest, zero-down financing offer, you can make this the best Christmas ever and still stay in budget. Merry Christmas from Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs, on approved credit.
Now's the time to get a great deal on select Kubota compact tractors, rated #1 in durability and owner experience. They're designed for easy operation and feature performance-matched attachments. Right now, put $0 down and get 0% APR for up to 48 months, plus save up to $1,100. Now through December 31st. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Visit Coleman Tractor Company, your local Kubota dealer in Clarksville, Nashville, Paris, and White House today.
Can't get enough Vanderbilt basketball?
Intercepted right all by himself for a one-hand flush.
Your home for the Commodores is 93.3 Classic Hits.
Put it up. It's good. Count it.
Join Coach Jerry Stackhouse and his team on their journey through the SEC.
Pulls a trigger. Yes, from 3.
Check out Vandy Hoops on 93.3 Classic Hits and the Classic Hits app.
Hey Nashville, this is Eli Gold, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
You know, sometimes there's a turning point in the season, and go back to them beating up on the Green Bay Packers on Thursday night. You remember that game, November 17th?
Very well.
They beat them 27-17. They got on the plane, everybody's feeling good. They get off the plane, the offensive coordinator gets a DUI on his way home. They play the Bengals the next week, they lose to the Bengals. They play the Eagles the following week in Philadelphia, they get trounced, 35-10. A.J. Brown goes off. They come back and they fire the general manager, John Robinson. They get beat up by, a team that everyone expects they'll beat, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Jaguars put 36 points on them, Bruce, and they turned the ball over 4 times. Now, to me, something's going on down there. They've lost 3 straight games. They've kind of lost their mojo, and they're in danger of missing the postseason.
That was Rich Gannon on SiriusXM NFL Radio. So months ago, Joe Rex Road, I had the take that Dylan Radins was so bad. See, I watch games with my eyes. I watch practice with my eyes when I go during training camp. I actually watch things and then make decisions based off that. Joe, who was arguing that Caleb Farley was in competition with Roger McCreary, which was ridiculous to anybody who had been out there, says that I argued that Dylan Radins was only on the team, that he only made the team because he was picked in the second round last year and for John Robinson to save face. And TD said on the TD Power Hour yesterday that the fact that Caleb Farley and Dylan Radins had not taken the steps to become players was a huge point of contention for Amy Adams Strunk, which led to John Robinson's firing. So Joe and Chad Withrow just agreed with it. Joe texted me and said, "You lost that argument badly. Give it up. What TD said is zero confirmation of your terrible take from the preseason." Let me say this. I don't know where all this Dylan Radins is going to play tackle stuff came from. I don't know. I mean, is he? I don't know. He's been liking tweets that say that Dennis Daly stinks and that he should be playing whatever. I don't know. If you guys think that Dylan Radins starting left tackle, where it's not like this is just the first week that we've realized Dennis Daly's not very good. If you think that that's going to make any kind of difference when the guy could not win the left tackle or right tackle job last year, could not win the right tackle job this year, with the deck stacked in his favor, and he can't play left guard over Brewer. If you think that he's going to make any difference at left tackle, you all watch the preseason. He sucks. And so what's happening is they kept him on the roster simply because they wanted to save face, because Robinson knew he was in real trouble if Radins couldn't make the team, and Robinson got fired anyways. I think it's total confirmation. If Robinson was on thin ice, that all of a sudden he would keep a guy to make himself look better. Joe's wrong. By the way, the GM used to have a term called swap and spit. That is what I feel like for everybody out there who thinks there's a better option, whether it's LaRaven Clark or Dylan Radins to play left tackle than Dennis Daly. Phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. Aiden has been waiting patiently today, and he is up next. Thank you for calling. What's up, Aiden?
So I'm really worried about these Titans. I hope you guys are doing really, really well today.
Sure.
I'm just worried about them because I don't think that the Jaguars are that good of a team. And then you're making these arguments that the Titans aren't as good as a team, and I'm agreeing with them, which is crazy to think that like this team is not a good team. We were just the number 1 seed last year. How can we be so far removed from being a good team? And it's like I argue that we are better this year than we were last year because we didn't have the 90 players that are on the active roster breaking the record. We've had not terrible injury concerns. We've had some injury concerns, just like every team in the NFL has had some injuries. But last year we were able to make up for it. What's different about this year?
So I think the biggest thing last year, good call, Aiden. Last season, and I understand what you're saying. Last season, the Titans played one game where they really had a bunch of key injuries. It was on the road at New England. Brewer had to start. Casaffold was out. AJ was out. Nick Westbrook-Akine and Cody Hollister, I think, started at receiver in that game because AJ and Julio were out. Ferkser was out. I mean, they had a bunch of injuries. And they really got their tails whipped by New England. And I think that this year's team where they are right now is more like that team than they were like the team that they were last year. First off, I think we have to all admit one thing. Danico Autry is a great player. He's not a good player. He is a great player. And he is equally as valuable to that defense as Jeffrey Simmons is. Now, Jeffrey Simmons will get paid more because on the open market, Jeffrey Simmons would be worth more and is a younger player. But Danico Autry is just as valuable as Jeffrey Simmons is to this team. And the last 3 games have been the 3 games that they've played without Danico Autry, and they will not have Danico Autry this week against the Chargers. So that's the first thing. I think the second thing here, though, that we've got to understand is this happens to teams. I don't understand how everybody can be so offended that the Titans were at a certain level last year and that the Titans are not at that level this year. In 2019, the San Francisco 49ers went to the Super Bowl. The next year, they were 6-10. They had key injuries to Joey Bosa. Jimmy Garoppolo got hurt. But people forget one big trade they made was they traded DeForest Buckner, who was their all-world defensive tackle, and that defensive line was a strength of theirs that led them to the Super Bowl that year. They traded DeForest Buckner to Indianapolis. They took the pick with which they received from Indianapolis and drafted Javon Kinlaw as a defensive tackle out of South Carolina. In fact, it's exactly what the Titans did with AJ. They had a player that wanted top-of-the-market money. They didn't pay top-of-the-market money. They traded Buckner. Buckner's been really good for Indianapolis. Kinlaw has really not broken through for San Francisco. They were 6-10. Now, nobody got fired there because overreacting to one bad year is ridiculous. But apparently everybody here is so offended. The Rams won the Super Bowl last year. The Rams won the Super Bowl. They're terrible this year. And nobody is calling for the firing of Sean McVay. I don't get it. Nobody is calling for the firing of Les Snead. The Titans were an okay team. I would say, I take that back. The Titans were a good team. You cannot go on the road to Kansas City and compete with the Chiefs with Malik Willis at quarterback if you don't have a solid team. Injuries have hit, led by Danico Autry. Traylon Burks has been in and out of the lineup, which has been a problem. But this negativity of how can it be so bad is because people don't understand where the Titans were and how they got to where they are now. They lost to the Bengals by 4 points. They hit the snapper in the head. They missed a 35-yard field goal. The Titans were 3 weeks ago a good team. And this is why you don't fire your general manager in the middle of the season when you've got a team that competes. Because when you've got a team that can compete, You're telling them that they suck. And then once you're telling them they suck, you're telling everyone else they suck. And that's what the owner did. And so when you're like, I think this team is better than last year. Well, this team doesn't have A.J. Brown. It's also not the end of the world to not be as good as you were the year before. Half the teams in the league. I actually think this is so comical. The Titans general manager gets fired. And everybody outside of Nashville thinks it's nuts to take a general manager who's never had a losing season and you fire him. And everybody thinks it's crazy because they all think it's about the A.J. Brown trade. And then you look around the league. Are the Packers going to fire Brian Gutekunst because he traded their wide receiver? Are the Rams going to fire Les Snead because they don't have any picks? And you know the answer is no. In this league, half the teams that make the playoffs don't make the playoffs the next year. This team is going to make the playoffs. The more I talk about this, the more laughable it gets. And I know people are going to flood the text line and talk about Caleb Farley. I get it. 615-737-1025. Ian, was last week a good week for me in six-pack picks? I don't feel like it was.
It was not, no.
It was not?
2-4 last week.
I've had a bad run lately. Time to get that turned around. We'll do that coming up next. Edley's Barbecue. I love Edley's Barbecue. If you are going to a game this weekend, if you're going to a bowl game, if you are going to a game later this year, if you're having people over for a big watch party, let Edley's Barbecue take care of all of that. Hand off the tailgating prep to Edley's Barbecue. Get your smoked wings and easy 25 and 50 count platters. Easily take smoked pulled pork, brisket, turkey, and scratch-made sides family style. Edley's is perfect for game day at home or at the stadium. So call your neighborhood Edley's or order online at edleysbbq.com. Edley's Barbecue has been voted Nashville's best barbecue 4 years in a row. It is a winning pick, and I know this because I devour Edley's Barbecue. That's right. Edley's Barbecue online, edleysbbq.com. That's Edley's Barbecue.
185! Every team needs a quarterback.
185!
That's why we have
Hasselbeck, bootleg, rollout, toss, touchdown.
Tim. ESPN NFL analyst Tim Hasselbeck gives his expertise on all things NFL.
How that team is built, I think there's a lot to like about them.
Every Tuesday at noon, Tim with Chase, Willie, and D-Mace. Presented by Red Spirit and Wine in Bellevue on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
Looking for another cold night ahead as temperatures drop back to the low 30s for both Saturday and Sunday. Looking pretty good. Chilly with highs in the low 40s, but both days looking sunny. For Fox 17, I'm Chief Meteorologist Katie Morgan.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Winning this award is truly like winning the Super Bowl of car dealer awards for Mercedes-Benz.
Edwin Vickery, General Manager of Mercedes-Benz of Music City.
Culture eats strategy for lunch. You have to hit on all cylinders to win this award. You can strategize all you want. You got to still have the right tools, and our tools are our people.
Live the dream with three-time Mercedes-Benz Best of the Best award winner, Mercedes-Benz of Music City. Go to mbofmc.com.
Signs First, Nashville's leading locally owned and operated sign and physical media company, has been supporting local community organizations for over 30 years. Signs First offers a 10% discount to all churches, nonprofits, and charities. Go to sfnash.com.
So, you think you know whiskey? Oil Fire, a dangerously seductive spirit, is finally here. You will like it. She will love it. Oil Fire 70 proof whiskey. There is nothing like it.
Here we go.
Here comes the Sandman.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Adam Sandler.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Live.
Should we clap along? I'm going to play guitar a little bit for you.
Adam Sandler.
Take him away!
Bridgestone Arena, Friday, February 17th.
All right, let's lose that. I hate it.
Get tickets now at livenation.com.
Yo, Pablo Torre here, host of the ESPN Daily Podcast. When you want to go beyond your feed, when you want to get inside the score, when you want to get behind the highlight, there's ESPN Daily. Go deeper into the stories of the moment. Get the exclusive access and insider perspective that only ESPN can give you. ESPN Daily, hosted by me, Pablo Torre. Listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Chase McCabe.
Competition in all positions.
Willie Donick.
You know what? I went on the radio and I tried.
And Derek Mason.
The man that sleeps on the floor never falls out to bed.
Chase, Willie, and D-Mace. Weekdays from 10 to 2 on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. You're listening to Stillman and Company.
Presented by TriStar Moving.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and on the Game Nashville app.
All right, it's time to pick the games this week. Six-pack picks. Ian, I have not been doing very well lately.
That is correct. Last week, 2-4 for a season total of 40, 51, and 2. Caroline went 3-3 last week.
Awful.
Her season record is now 49, 42, and 2. So she is 7 games over 500.
She's having a great year.
So that's pretty solid.
She is having a great year. I'm having a terrible year. I did pick the Jags, though.
That is correct.
You know.
You got the Jags and you got the Eagles last week, but you missed the Bucs, Dolphins, Vikings, and the Bills. Caroline got the Jets, Eagles, Detroit, missed the Bucs, the Dolphins, and the Titans.
I knew not to take the Dolphins. All right, what are we doing this week, Ian?
All right, we got a couple
3 games tomorrow.
Yes, a couple of good ones. This one's borderline good. It's a divisional race. We're going to go with the Ravens and the Browns for the first game. 3:30 NFL Network. It's a pretty low over-under of only 38. No Lamar Jackson. Cleveland is -3.
I'll take Baltimore. I think Deshaun Watson's stinking it up right now as he returns from. Now, Cleveland's got a nice roster, but I'll still take Baltimore. They have something to play for. Cleveland doesn't. I'll take the Ravens.
All right, I'm actually going to take the Ravens to cover this one. If Tyler Huntley is good to go, I think they could give the Browns some trouble. I just don't think the Browns are very good. I don't think Deshaun Watson is very good. If the Browns do win this game, it's going to be through Nick Chubb, but I think the Ravens defense is going to be able to control that. So I'll take the Ravens +3.
I mean, I will say this. I do think that Deshaun Watson has been stinking it up since he made his return, which is probably not unexpected with 2 years off. But what I'm really hoping for in my heart is that Deshaun Watson plays worse than Russell Wilson has played in Denver, and that the Browns have to live with that contract and that fully guaranteed money for being such pieces of crap. What's next?
Okay, we will continue on the Saturday game. Another Snowmageddon possibly
Bills.
here. Yep. 7:15 NFL Network. Dolphins at the Bills. Over under 44, I guess because of the weather situation. Buffalo is minus a touchdown. 7.
Bills are going to blow them out. Tua does not have the arm to play in bad weather. The Dolphins never go to Buffalo ever. Even when the Dolphins have good teams and the Bills have bad teams, the Dolphins never, ever, ever go to Buffalo and win in December. That is not going to happen here. It is absolutely not going to happen. Tua does not have the arm strength to be able to throw through that. Josh Allen does. They're used to playing it. Blowout for the Bills.
Pretty sure it's supposed to be like negative 20 degrees and a blizzard in Buffalo this weekend. So give me the Bills to cover the Dolphins minus the 7. I just don't think that the Dolphins are equipped to play in that kind of weather. It's going to be a gross game. I'll take the Bills to win by at least a touchdown.
Yeah, you can't have a Hawaiian quarterback that plays in Miami going on the road to Buffalo in a snowstorm and win a game. What's next?
Okay, we had kind of teased this game earlier. Noon, Fox. Will the Jags be able to continue the momentum? They are hosting the Dallas Cowboys. Over-under, pretty high, 48. Dallas is -4.
Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence will make Trevor Lawrence's life miserable. And I think that people are going to be piling on Jacksonville because of all the points they scored last week. We know why they won that game. The Titans had nuked their season in the middle of the week. This is no different. I think a lot of people are expecting the Cowboys to be in a tough game after they went toe-to-toe. When they went toe-to-toe with the Texans last week, who stink. I am going with the Cowboys big over the Jags.
I think that this spread is an overreaction to the Jags game in the Jags win against the Titans last week. I think Dallas is going to be able to beat the Jags by like a touchdown. I don't think the Jags are very good. I think the Jags win over the Titans had more to do with the Titans than it did about the talent of that Jacksonville Jaguars team. So I'll take Dallas -4. I think that's a lock.
Okay, let's move over to CBS for the afternoon game. 3:25. Joe Burrow going to Tampa Bay to take on Tom Brady, and the Bucks. Over under 45. Cincinnati is -3.5.
I think Tom Brady hates his Bucks team just as much as Ryan Tannehill hates his offensive line. I think Cincinnati is grooving at the right time. I'm not betting against Joe Burrow.
Give me Cincinnati, -3.5 all day. The Bucks are not very good at all. The Bucks, I thought last week that Brady against Brock Purdy, that no way that Brock Purdy and the 49ers were going to be able to pull it out. But they did, very much so. And the 49ers had their way with the Bucks. So I'll take Cincinnati -3.5. The Bucks are just truly awful.
The Bucks do stink. Who is Sunday night?
I don't know if
it's Giants.
It is. It's the Giants versus the Commanders. It's a divisional game. And a half, but Washington is Giants at Commanders. 7:20 Sunday Night Football, NBC. Washington -5.
I'll take Washington. I think the Giants are pretty banged up, and I think Washington's got a really good defensive line that will overpower the Giants' offensive line. I think Washington is peaking. I think Taylor Heineke is the quarterback they need. I will take the Commanders to take down the Giants on Sunday Night Football, even though they tied the first time.
I feel like the Giants, week over week over week, ever since they started the year kind of hot, have gotten worse and worse and worse. So give me Taylor Heineke. I think the Commanders will be able to win this game by about a touchdown. I'll take Washington -5.
All right, that brings us to our final six of our final game here of the six-pack picks. 3:25 CBS. Titans at the Chargers. Over under 46.5. Chargers still -3.
Who's Caroline got?
Mike Vrabel said they're going to have to affect the quarterback and his keys to the game. Without Danico Autry, I don't know how the Titans are able to do that. It's a long road trip. The Chargers are a bad matchup for the Titans. I'll take the Chargers -3, and that's awfully depressing.
Unless the Titans can run on the Chargers, who are dead last with 5.4 yards per carry, I see no way in which they're going to win. I don't think this team believes, and I think Justin Herbert's going to sling it all over the yard. I'll go Chargers 28, Titans 13 on Sunday. That's it for us. We're out of here. Full reaction Monday at 2 o'clock. The pregame show starts at 1 o'clock, special time with the late kickoff. Titans and Chargers. We'll see you then. Stillman and Company, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.